Mu Xingyun had once invited Long Fei to enter the West region. Mu Xingyun had once invited Long Fei to enter the West region. It was his greatest right. The West region was also where the Mu clan's elites resided. Many disciples wouldn't be able to enter the West region in their entire lives, but Long Fei had refused. This made a lot of disciples puzzled. There is definitely something wrong with Long Fei's head. Naturally, his status would be different after entering the West region. Furthermore, to be able to obtain even more cultivation resources was simply a step up to the heavens. But he refused. Now, Mu Yuding directly allowed Long Fei to become a disciple of the northern region. The west side was where the elites were located, but the north was where the highest authority gathered. The real upper echelons of Mu clan. Ordinary disciples were unable to enter. From this, it could be seen that Mu Yuding's identity was not ordinary. Furthermore, Long Fei could tell that the reason Mu Yuding helped him was actually not because of his identity, nor was it because of him, but because of Mu Changfeng. Mu Changfeng's status should be higher than Mu Yuding's. Long Fei said, "Thank you, Elder, for your kind intentions. With my current cultivation, I am still unable to enter the northern region, and entering the northern region will be troublesome for the elders. I will still take things one step at a time. Keep a low profile." Keeping a low profile was the best way to show off. Enter the North District? Become a North District Elder? Elite Disciple? Become the #1 Healing Master? No, these were all things that Long Fei did not want. This was only his temporary resting place. He would not stay here for long. To this place, he was just a passerby. When he brings up his level increase, he will leave. Even though Mu Clan was grandfather's Mu Clan, he did not want to interfere too much. He had his own matters to attend to. His refusal stunned Mu Yuding for a moment. As if he did not understand what Yin Che meant, he asked doubtfully, "What did you say?" Long Fei said, "Thank you, Elder, for your good intentions, but I will not be going to the northern region." Mu Yin continued to pull at Long Fei's clothes and said in a low voice, "Boss, this is the northern region. It's truly a step into the heavens. You can obtain more cultivation resources by entering the northern region." Long Fei smiled faintly. "It doesn't matter which server it is, as long as it's in Mu Clan." Mu Yuding nodded his head and said, "You must think about it carefully. You've already offended Mu Changsheng. I believe that in the future, it will be difficult for you to move forward in the Mu Clan. If you're willing to enter the northern region to become my disciple, it will only be leaving your identity behind. You can make the decisions regarding the rest of the cultivation. This way you can relax a lot. Your master Mu Xingyun cannot protect you. That is something I hope you understand." Mu Yuding didn't forget to give a reminder in the end as he glanced at Mu Yun and said, "Your brothers can also enter the northern region together." This was definitely something that no one could refuse. In Mu Yun's eyes, there were no waves. He himself did not care, since he would not be able to live for long. However, he hoped that Long Fei would be able to enter the northern region. Long Fei shook his head. "Thank you, Elder, for your goodwill, my brother's words." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Mu Yun immediately said, "If boss isn't going, I won't go either." Mu Yuding smiled, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Throughout the history of the Mu clan, there has never been a disciple who could refuse such a condition. You're really special." Mu Changfeng was very casual. If Long Fei wanted to enter the northern region, he would definitely support him. However, Long Fei did not do so. Mu Changfeng said, "No matter where you are still my savior. Benefactor, my brother's injuries." Long Fei's brows tightened and said, "They're still not dead yet. I need to concoct some new pills, and I need someone to protect me. My cultivation is not high enough, so I cannot be 100% sure of success." Mu Changfeng immediately said, "I'll protect you." Long Fei looked at Mu Yuding again. Mu Yuding smiled and said, "All right, my disciple, and I can also guard you." Mu Yun said, "Boss, I also." Long Fei immediately said, "Mu Yun, you stay. I need someone to help me." Mu Yun stared blankly for a moment, but did not ask any further, and replied, "Okay." Actually, the other 6 required the same amount of pills as Mu Changfeng. As long as Long Fei was a little more cautious, he should be able to succeed 5 or 6 times out of 10 times. The reason he wanted them to protect him was because he wanted them to hide his alchemy. Mu Changfeng did not need to worry. He would definitely not peek. As for Mu Yuding, this was also the reason why Long Fei wanted him to stay. Did you block their line of sight? Mu Yun's gaze swept the area slightly and said, Amen, they've blocked it. They shouldn't be able to see it. After receiving confirmation, Long Fei slowly started. 1 hour later, Long Fei was sweating profusely, gasping for breath. The holy source value had been completely used up. He stood up and said, Phew, all right. Mu Changfeng quickly flew over and asked, Have you concocted the pills? Long Fei nodded his head and said, Amen. That's enough. Let them eat it. Mu Yuding also leisurely walked up, seeing Long Fei's forehead fill with sweat, and then looked at the place where Long Fei was sitting just now. He said, You've worked hard. Although he did not know how to use alchemy, he knew a thing or two. He was doubtful in his heart. Why did Long Fei not have a pill furnace by his side? Was it really a pill refined by Mu Xingyin? Long Fei just mixed them together? This was probably the only explanation. After taking a gulp of the pill, a few minutes later, the blood on top of their heads slowly recovered to full. Long Fei let out a long sigh of relief. It should be fine, Zhang Xian thought. Alchemy caused him great pain. This was especially the case since it consumed a great deal of his psychic power. Another few minutes passed. One by one, they should wake up. Furthermore, their soul and sea of consciousness were all healed up, and their cultivation had also increased by a level. Mu Changfeng's tears almost fell. He didn't know how to thank Long Fei, so he kept grabbing on a Long Fei's hand, not knowing what to say. He is not good at expressing himself. However, he knew that Long Fei was his savior, the savior of all 7 of them. If not for Long Fei, they would either be dead or a piece of trash. Immediately, Mu Changfeng said in a heavy voice, You saved us, so our lives are yours. From today onwards, you are our boss. The other 6 people did not know how to react. Why did the senior brother have to pay respects to their boss? Mu Changfeng replied heavily, Call me boss. The 6 of them had never dared to disobey Mu Changfeng's orders. Since he was the great senior brother, their master's words would only be orders if he wasn't there. Immediately, the 6 of them shouted in unison, Boss! Long Fei was a little embarrassed as he said, Everyone, senior sister, I am just a service disciple. A disciple who had previously seen Long Fei's disdainful attitude also followed. That's right, great senior brother. What right does he have? Not waiting for him to finish, Mu Changfeng glared at him fiercely. Why? With your life being saved by him, with the lives of the 7 of us being saved by him, without him, we would have already died. Because of these. Understood. That disciple immediately lowered his head and whispered, Understood. Mu Changfeng looked at Long Fei and said, I don't care what status you have. From today onwards, from this moment onwards, you are our boss. Long Fei could not reject and could only give up. Long Fei could not reject and could only give up. Thinking that the undead lord was about to attack, the 7 of them should have been able to say something in the northern region. Even if they couldn't get the Mu clan into a state of preparation, they could at least warn the Mu clan about strengthening its defenses. If Long Fei were to say it himself, let alone see the elder, the patriarch, he didn't even know where the northern region was. 7 strong men of North Region, the legacy disciple of the old patriarch, their words naturally had different weight. Thinking about undead lord, Long Fei's heart tensed up again. Thinking about undead lord's powerful strength, his fists could not help but secretly clench. His eyes darkened. My level is still too low. Even with the God's chop, God curse, these super powerful things are still useless. My level is too low. Besides, will undead lord bring other powerhouse this time? Will the people from Xian's come? All of these are unknown. Long Fei had no way of controlling when the undead lord came or how many people he brought. The only thing he could control was himself. He had to raise his level as much as possible and make himself stronger as possible before undead lord arrived at the Mu clan. And then, Long Fei moved and said, Goldfur, continue to attack. Don't stop. The golden-furred giant ape sensed that Long Fei was in danger and stealthily approached him. Now that the danger had been resolved, he relaxed. After hearing Long Fei's sound transmission, the golden-furred giant ape asked, "Boss, should we cripple that old man from before?" Long Fei was beaten up and even vomited blood. The golden-furred giant ape was very upset. His boss was actually bullied. How could it endure this? If Long Fei had not stopped him, he would have rushed out long ago. Now that Mu Changsheng had already left, as long as he nodded, he could kill him. Long Fei did not hesitate and said, "Gold Fur, don't act recklessly. Just let them leave." Mu Changsheng was a very important person to the Mu clan. The first doctor was also one of the strongest alchemy masters. If he died, it would be a great loss to the Mu clan. Long Fei was slapped, and his words were shamed, but he took back all of these words and slapped Mu Changsheng's face hard. Of course, all of this was because Mu Changsheng's surname was Mu. Otherwise, the giant golden ape muttered, "I see that old man is very unhappy. Since boss said he won't make a move, then I'll just endure it. If he dares to cause you trouble again, I'll definitely not spare him." With that, the huge figure of the giant golden ape silently disappeared. A few minutes later, the system sounded out again. The experience bar began to slowly roll again. Although the speed was not fast, at least his experience points was increasing. Before Undead Lord comes, I still need to find a place to level up. Long Fei made up his mind. Last time, he was saved by his grandfather, who was severely injured. The strongest spatial technique in the entire Mu clan was grasped in his grandfather's hands. His elemental energy was greatly damaged. If Undead Lord comes again, he will definitely not be able to hold her off. Although my grandfather had specially instructed all of the Mu clan as to hide, they might not have the time to hide. Mu clan knew very well that he was in control of the power of space. If he came to God Living Mountain, he would definitely have a way to deal with the spatial power of the Mu clan. Even if Mu clan managed to hide into the special space in the end, they would have to pay a heavy price. This was not what Long Fei wanted to see. It was his business. Then he should carry it alone. Thus, since an undead lord had appeared, he had to step forward first. "Boss, what are you thinking about? Are you worried that Mu Changsheng will cause trouble for you?" Mu Changfeng walked over to Long Fei's side. He thought Long Fei was worried that Mu Changsheng would cause trouble for him after he returned to the Mu clan. Long Fei withdrew his thoughts and said, "No, boss, don't worry. You are the boss of our 7 strongmen of North Region. Let alone Mu Changsheng, who is looking for trouble with you. Even if acting patriarch Mu Hitai is looking for trouble with you, you don't have to be afraid. Who are we? We are the legacy disciples of the old clan leader." The corner of Mu Yu's mouth rose as he spoke in a very confident tone. Long Fei was startled, and then he cried out involuntarily, "You are all from—" Just as he said those 4 words, he immediately stopped and said, "Thank you, senior brother." Mu Changfeng immediately said, "I already said that you are our boss. You don't have to call us senior brother. You just have to call us by our names. You know what my name is now: Old 4th Elder Mu Yu, 6th Junior Sister Mu Ro, 2nd Elder Mu Changshan, Old 3rd Elder Mu Yuan, 5th Elder Mu Jun. Just call us by our names in the future," was very sincere. Before Long Fei saved the 6 of them, he had thought about when he would help Long Fei and when he would return the favor. But in an instant, they had 7 lives, and it was not as simple as life. Their divine souls and seas of consciousness were all crippled by Long Fei, and he was the one who saved them. Seeing them wake up one by one, Mu Changfeng made up his mind. This was because even if they used their lives, they would still be unable to return the favor. Everyone stood in front of Long Fei. Long Fei also looked at them with a serious smile and asked in his heart, "Long Quang, how are their talents?" "High aptitude," Long Quang replied. Long Fei was secretly delighted in his heart as he said, "Grandfather is grandfather. Your eyes are sharp enough." With 7 highly talented people as successors, it shouldn't be a problem for them to enter the realm of great powers in the ancient times, right? Long Quang Dao, with their innate talent, Entering the realm of an ancient almighty being within 1,000 years shouldn't be too big of a problem. Long Fei was stunned. 1,000 years? It's a little too long, isn't it? Long Guangdao said. To reach the realm of an ancient almighty being within 1,000 years. This kind of speed is already considered fast. To most people, an existence that an ancient almighty being can only look up to. If the 7 of them were to cultivate for 1,000 years, they should be able to enter the realm of an ancient almighty beings. Not bad, he said, with extreme reluctance. The realm of an ancient almighty being was the strongest realm of the divine space. There were very few who could become an ancient almighty powerhouse, 1 in a trillion. Becoming an ancient almighty powerhouse in 1,000 years was already a very powerful existence. However, to Long Fei, what level would it take to reach in 1,000 years? This had been going on for far, far too long. He hadn't spent 1,000 years from his teleportation to now. How many times had he reached the great perfection stage? He couldn't even count it. Long Guangdao, Master, not everyone is like you. Your breakthrough speed cannot be imagined by ordinary people. Many of the time I've been thinking, just how did you break through? He's too fast. He's definitely a monster. When I think of your previous life, Saying this, Long Quang suddenly stopped and didn't continue. Because he knew that Long Fei didn't like to hear it. The system's voice could only be heard by Long Fei. Even if it was Dragon Quang and Flower Fairy, they could not hear it. So they only knew that Long Fei's breakthrough speed was fast. They did not know that he had hidden a gold finger in his head. This was Long Fei's greatest secret. The existence of the system was a secret that Long Fei could not tell anyone. The existence of the system was a secret that Long Fei could not tell anyone. No matter who it was, no matter if it was a close relative, wife, or brother, this secret couldn't be revealed. Only he alone knew of it. When he unraveled the secret of the system that day and found the creator of the system, he would speak of it after he truly controlled the system. Now, not a word. Long Fei said indifferently. It's probably because I have exceptional talent. He didn't want to explain why he leveled up so quickly. Furthermore, he did not want to admit that he was Long Batian's reincarnation. He did not have any good feelings towards Long Batian, and right now, there was still a piece of dragon scale in his mind. He even signed a contract that he couldn't reject. Very unhappy. Thinking of this, Long Fei suddenly had a bright idea. Damn, Long Batian wouldn't want my striking system, right? He was stunned. 1 second, 2 seconds, 30 seconds. Long Fei did not move. His mind went blank. After a long time, Long Fei shook his head and thought, No, I don't think so. I am a soul penetrator. My system is in my soul. No one knows of its existence. Long Batian is the same. If he doesn't even know about the system, why would he want the system? Definitely not. Thinking that the world he was living in was the world of cultivation. There must be some sort of technological world in the universe other than the ancient world. Long Batian was once the #1 person in the ancient world. He appeared here when the ancient world was in complete chaos. Would he have lived in other technological planes in the universe? Would he know about the existence of the system? After thinking about it, Long Fei's mind tightened and became slightly unsure of himself. It shouldn't be that I know of the system. It shouldn't be that. What was the content of the agreement he signed? Long Fei did not know. He only knew that Long Batian would take something from him at that time. I don't know. If it was the system, Long Fei could not help but feel a chill in his heart. He secretly clenched his fists and said, Although I do not like the system and feel like I'm being controlled, it's still mine. If you touch my thing without my consent, I will definitely take his life. Long Fei really knew how to act. Before Long Fei could crack the system's secret, it was Long Fei's personal item. Long Batian wanted it. No way. Boss. Are you daydreaming again? Mu Changfeng asked. Huh? Long Fei regained his senses, let out a dry laugh, and said, I spent quite a bit of energy in concocting the medicinal pellets yesterday, and have not recovered. Mu Changfeng immediately said, Boss, then don't even think about it. I won't disturb you any longer. Mu Changfeng retreated to the side. Huff! Long Fei let out a light breath and didn't continue thinking about what Long Batian wanted him to do with the system. Instead, he asked Long Guangdao, 1,000 years is too long. Since they are people that my grandfather has chosen, I want to help them. Do you have any good ideas? Give them an increase in their cultivation speed. Long Guangdao, you haven't even resolved the matter with Mu Yun. Do you still want to cause the 7 of them to go berserk again? There were still 9 days left. If Mu Yun was unable to absorb the immortal crystal, he would completely transform into a beast and lose his humanity. It was like death. Long Fei looked at Mu Yuan, who was chatting merrily with Mu Changfeng and the others not far away, as if he did not care about whether he could successfully fuse with the immortal crystals or not. His heart couldn't help but tighten. He had asked Goldfur that the god-living mountain might not have any other fairy beast, that he was the only one. The fact that the system couldn't explode made Long Fei very anxious. He did not want to lose his brother again. Long Fei said, just say if there's a way, you don't need to think about other things. Long Guangdao, of course there is. There isn't a free lunch in this world. If you want to take a shortcut, you must pay the price. Otherwise, if we end up with this shortcut, we'll die. Long Fei said, tell me the method first. Long Guangdao, the talents of the 7 of them are all superior talents. With their current cultivation method, after 1,000 years, they can break through the almighty realm. This kind of cultivation method is a traditional method, and it has already been ingrained in their minds. To go against the will of the heavens. Long Fei said, tell me what I can understand. Long Guangdao, break and build, and use the devil to step into the Tao. Path of the demon. Fuck, Long Guang, you want them to die, right? Long Fei could not help but say that their talent was already very strong. How much courage would it take to give up? After giving up, he would reverse cultivate and use the demonic path to step into the Tao. This, not to mention they didn't agree to it. Even if Long Fei heard it, he wouldn't agree to it. It wasn't worth it at all. Long Guang said with a laugh, I just said, shortcuts must come at a price. However, entering the Tao with demons is not what you think. There are tens of thousands of paths in the world, and the path of the demonic path is also one of them. It is not some ferocious beast. As long as you control your true nature, you will be able to change it to a different training method. He explained a bit. Long Fei still felt that this was not feasible because it was too dangerous. It wasn't that he disliked the demonic path, but that the demonic cultivators had to endure more temptation and more pain than the traditional cultivators. Long Guangdao, Master, if you want to change them, and they agree, I will pass down the cultivation method to you. Long Fei nodded and said, I understand. He did not plan to tell Mu Changfeng and the rest of the 7. This was too crazy. He had just saved their lives. Was he going to push them into an irreparable abyss? He didn't dare to think about it. It was just that Long Fei could not accept that the person his grandfather had chosen would need 1,000 years to become an almighty powerhouse. At this time, Mu Yuding walked in front of Long Fei and said, Brother Mu Fei, the energy of the spatial teleportation formation has already been accumulated. Are you sure you don't want to go together with me? Not far away, a white door of light appeared in the air. There was a formation beneath the door of light, and a powerful force surged from it. This was a spatial formation. With just a thought, Lin Ming could travel thousands of miles. However, this sort of array formation required a massive amount of energy in order to operate. Seeing that the spatial door had opened, Mu Changfeng also walked over and said, Boss, aren't you leaving? Long Fei shook his head and said, I am a disciple of the Eastern District. I should be returning to the Eastern District, not the Northern District. Mu Changfeng immediately said, If boss is not going, then I will also not go. I will directly walk back to Mu Clan. President you. Then you can leave first. Mu Yuding glanced at Long Fei, then faintly smiled. Since that's the case, then I'll take my leave first. Without another word, he walked straight into the space gate. He was in a hurry to tell Mu Hatai everything that had happened. Mu Yuding waved at Long Fei from the middle of the dimensional door. We will meet at Mu Clan. The spatial gate closed. Immediately, He disappeared into thin air. When Mu Yuding left, Long Fei turned around to look at Mu Changfeng and said, "There is something I need to tell you." "Boss, are you saying that one of the three great sky sovereigns of the Xians is here to cause trouble for us?" Mu Changfeng looked at Long Fei in a daze. "Boss, are you saying that one of the three great sky sovereigns of the Xians is here to cause trouble for us?" Mu Changfeng looked at Long Fei in a daze. He was a bit confused. Not just him, but the other six were the same. Zhang Xian was perplexed. He never would have thought that Undead Lord would come here to stir up trouble. Ever since the incident with the dragon race, Mu Clan had been very low profile. It could be said that Mu Clan had completely entered a state of seclusion. Who did I offend? Even the heavenly sovereign of the Xians was coming? Impossible, right? Undead Lord is one of the three great sky sovereigns of Xians. He is also his right hand. Why would he attack our Mu Clan? Yeah, boss, could there be something wrong? Is the information accurate? They were all puzzled. If they did not receive any news, why would they have to deal with the Mu Clan? Long Fei did not reveal his identity, nor did he say that his grandfather Mu Tianhe was injured by Undead Lord. Seeing their faces filled with doubt, Long Fei said, "I won't lie to you all. As for why Undead Lord came here, you will all know. Now, I want you all to let the higher-ups of the Mu Clan in the northern region know about this. Make sure they are on their guard as soon as possible. As long as he made preparations in advance, even if the Undead Lord came, he wouldn't be able to do anything about it. This way, the Mu Clan would also be spared a calamity." Mu Changfeng said, "We naturally believe what boss has said, and we will definitely try our best to accomplish what boss has instructed us to do." He didn't think too much about it. Since he recognized Long Fei as his boss, he had to listen to his boss's words. They owed Long Fei their lives. Long Fei said, "I know that all of you are suspicious, but please believe me, the Undead Lord is coming, and he has brought a lot of experts from the powerhouse with him. So the elders from the northern region can prepare as soon as possible, just in case." Mu Changfeng nodded his head. "I will remember. I will tell the Patriarch when we get back." "All right." Long Fei's heart relaxed. His words did not carry weight. But Mu Changfeng and the others were different. They were the successors of the old Patriarch and had extremely high prestige in the northern region. 7 strongmen of North region held a very high position in the Mu Clan. With them speaking, even if Mu Hatai didn't want to listen, he would still remember their words in his heart. At the very least, he wouldn't dare to be careless and would make preparations. However, this was Long Fei's own problem. He asked Mu Changfeng to remind the Mu Clan only so that the Mu Clan could be on guard. But he had to face the Undead Lord. He had to avenge himself. He had to avenge his grandfather as well. Furthermore, anyone from the Xians must die, not to mention someone at the Sky Sovereign's level. It was just that Long Fei's current cultivation was still too weak. He had to become stronger before Undead Lord could sense him. Rumble! A distant boom rang out. Mu Changfeng's forehead turned sinister as he looked towards the direction of the voice. His expression changed slightly as he asked, "Is it that guy?" Mu Yu immediately nodded. "That's right. Its aura is exactly the same. Could it be that it came out of the cave? Or could it be that he succeeded in his tribulation?" Mu Ro replied, "That shouldn't be the case. It has been hiding in the cave the entire time. The cave itself is strange, so why would it come out?" Young Master Mu said, "Why do you care so much? With just a few words, are you willing to do it?" Mu Yuan also followed, "Do it. F***CK. At first, let's let him ambush us. This time, the 7 of us will be together. I don't believe that we won't be able to kill that fairy beast." Yes, Master is still waiting for the fairy beast's blood. The 7 people's fighting spirit immediately surged. They couldn't wait to rush over right now. Long Fei laughed bitterly in his heart, but when he heard that his grandfather wanted to buy fairy beast, his heart sank, and he said, "Outer! What does your master want from the fairy beast's spirit blood for?" Mu Changfeng said, "Boss, we cannot say this. Master has already instructed us to do so. No one is allowed to say it. I am sorry." Long Fei laughed. "I'm fine." He was secretly anxious. The reason why his grandfather went into seclusion was because he was severely injured. How serious were his injuries? He did not know. If it was using the fairy beastess as treatment, then his injuries would be really serious. At the same time, he also knew that Mu Chongfeng's group of 7 hunted the golden-furred great ape not for the immortal crystals, but for his spirit blood. With a sigh of relief, Long Fei said, "You guys have just recovered from your injuries, so you definitely aren't your match. Otherwise, leave this matter to me." Mu Chongfeng was startled. Everyone was shocked. They knew exactly how powerful the golden-furred ape was. Even if the 7 of them went all out, they probably wouldn't be able to beat him. If even the 7 of them couldn't do it, then give it to Long Fei? Mu Chongfeng said, "Boss, that fairy beast is too savage. It can even speak the human language. Its intelligence is extremely high. Even the Howren Realm powerhouse is not its match. If the 7 of us use all of our power, maybe we will have a chance." "Don't worry about it," young Master Mu said. "This fellow almost killed us. I must get my revenge." "Exactly. I must take revenge. We've never been at such a disadvantage before." Long Fei felt his scalp tingling. He was sure that Mu Chongfeng and the other 3 were no match for the golden fur. In the past, they would only be ravaged by the golden fur. And in the end, Long Fei still had to take action. It would be exposed. Long Fei didn't want to be exposed so early. Moreover, if he were to expose himself now, he did not know how to explain it. It would affect how Mu Chongfeng viewed him. Long Fei said, "I am your boss, not the spirit blood that wants fairy beast. Don't worry, I'll definitely do this for you guys. Right now, our priority is not to get to the fairy beastess, but to hurry back to the Mu clan and report to the patriarch about the undead lord." "Understood." Mu Chongfeng hesitated. Long Fei asked, "How much time did your master give you?" Mu Chongfeng said, 15 days. It has already been 10 days. 5 days then. All right, leave this matter to me. I will definitely get you all the fairy beast's spirit blood." Golden Fur was his war pet, so wasn't it obvious that spirit blood wanted to teach him a lesson? Moreover, this was his grandfather. How could he dare to be careless? Seeing that Long Fei had said that, Mu Chongfeng could only give up on the chance to look for golden-haired, and said, "Boss, that fairy beast's strength is truly terrifying." Long Fei patted his shoulder and said, "Relax, I'm your boss, so I naturally have my ways. Otherwise, how can I be your boss?" Mu Chongfeng laughed dryly and said, "All right, boss, I believe in you. And hurry back to the North region and take care of what I told you to do first. Don't worry about the fairy beast and spirit blood. I'll give it to you when I get back." Finished. Long Fei called out to Mu Yun and said, "Let's go, find that fairy beast for some blood." Mu Yun stood at the side and did not say a word, while his heart nearly suffered internal injuries, waiting for Long Fei to leave. Looking at the direction in which Long Fei disappeared in, young Master Mu said, "Great senior brother, you're saying that can boss really do it?" Mu Chongfeng did not speak. Mu Rou said, "My intuition tells me that he is not simple." Mu Rou was the only girl out of the 7 of them. Mu Rou was the only girl out of the 7 of them. Her talent was very special. Perception. This sort of feeling was not towards a martial artist, not towards their aura, but towards all directions. It was just like what she had said just now. Intuition. This was also one of her senses. Moreover, her intuition had never been wrong. Mu Chongfeng also looked in the direction Long Fei disappeared to. Mu Chongshan smiled innocently and said, "That definitely won't be easy. Otherwise, how could he be our boss?" "Ha ha, ha." A few people laughed. Mu Chongfeng said indifferently, "No matter what, our lives were saved by him. We also acknowledge him as our boss, so his words are still in order. Trust him." "No, I'm trusting boss." "All right, let's hurry back to Mu Clan. If what he said is true, then Mu Clan should really enter the first level of caution. Let's go." With Mu Chongfeng's order, he rushed back to Mu Clan like the wind. "Boss, I can't hold it in any longer." After walking for more than 10 kilometers, Mu Yun's face flushed red, and in the end, he couldn't help but burst out laughing Ha ha. If they knew that the fairy beast is your war pet, then they... Ha ha. Mu Yin laughed madly. Long Fei rolled his eyes at him. The golden hair almost killed them, and I saved them. Now that they want to obtain the blood of the golden hair, and I want to help them again, this matter. How can you explain it so clearly? Luckily, they didn't persist otherwise. I really don't know how to handle this. Long Fei laughed bitterly, but grandfather's injury must be treated. Mu Yin laughed. When you bring the golden-furred spirit blood back, I reckon that they would really admire you from the bottom of their hearts. Ha ha. Boss is indeed the boss. Mu Yin was also full of admiration for Long Fei. Long Fei continued. There's still time. This god-living mountain should have other fairy beasts. Mu Yin's gaze tightened and said, Boss, I'm fine. Long Fei said, What's not important? You are my brother, and your life is like mine. Don't worry, I will definitely think of a way. Mu Clan, North District, Mu Hatai's courtyard. During this period of time, he had gone through a series of reforms as the acting clan leader. Whether it was the Judgment Pavilion or the Elders, almost all of them were his people. If he were to once again select a patriarch, even if Mu Tianhe were to come out of seclusion, he would still have a guaranteed victory. The feeling of being in control of the highest authority was extremely refreshing. This was the best time of his life. At this moment, Mu Yuding stood behind Mu Hatai. He recounted the events that happened in the mountain in detail. Moreover, when Mu Yuding returned, he kept thinking about where he had seen Long Fei before, and felt that Long Fei looked very familiar. It was the grandson the old patriarch brought back from outside, Murong Xiong's illegitimate child. Mu Hatai's eyes were very calm, and she asked, Did he really save 7 strongmen of North Region? What is my brother hiding? In less than a month's time, from a trash with useless inherent skills in the god state, to a high level of the divine moon realm. Even a number 1 genius of ancient world, Xin Tianzi, didn't have such speed, right? Could it be that he has started to conceal his talent and cultivation? Impossible. Even if it's to hide my talent and cultivation level, it's impossible for me to not be able to tell. Mu Hatai thought about the day Mu Tianhe brought him back. He had scanned Long Fei's inherent skill and cultivation more than once. The results were always the same. He was just a piece of trash, like many of Murong Xiong's illegitimate children. But now, to be able to reach the 9th level of the Divine Moon in such a short time, wasn't that just too unbelievable? Mu Yuding said, No one has such cultivation speed. He must be hiding his cultivation, but he is just... What is his purpose for being a little errand boy in the East District? Could it be the old patriarch's first move? Mu Hatai's eyes turned sinister, a cold light flashing past his eyes. In an instant, the temperature in the courtyard plummeted. It was not easy for him to become the clan head, and his position was not yet hot. He did not want to withdraw so quickly. Any factor, any existence that threatened him must be eliminated. Mu Hatai said coldly, Murong Xiong has so many illegitimate children, so it's normal for a few of them to die in this dangerous world. Mu Yuding's eyes slightly opened and said, I understand. Mu Hatai said, Before doing anything, first clarify everything about him, and then do things in a more beautiful manner. Mu Yuding nodded. Understood. Go! Mu Hatai waved his hand. When Mu Yuding was about to leave the small courtyard, he thought of Mu Changsheng and asked, Did Mu Changsheng come back before you did? Mu Yuding stopped and said, He came back before me, so logically speaking he should have arrived a long time ago. I thought he would have already complained to you. I didn't expect that he still hadn't returned. This is really strange. They had all returned to the Mu clan from the spatial door in the blink of an eye. Mu Changsheng was the first to go. So he should have gone to Mu clan first, but he did not. Had he gone somewhere else? No way to know. Mu Tianhe let out a deep breath and said, All right, you go do your thing first. Mu Yuding walked out of the courtyard. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for leveling up. His current cultivation is at the 1st rank of the Boundless Realm. He had leveled up. When Long Fei stepped into the Limitless Realm, the power aura around his body immediately changed. At the same time, he felt his own body, power, mind, and consciousness all undergo a huge increase. Only, Long Fei was not very happy, because, too slow. Now that his level increase was up, the demon beast's experience plummeted. From the original few thousand points to now, there were only a few hundred. His experience of leveling up had also increased by several folds. Although the golden hair was killing crazily, the demon beast of God Living Mountain was no longer able to satisfy his leveling up requirement. It was also at this time. Ding! System prompt. Do you wish to release Berserk energy? Yes, sir. Long Fei did not hesitate. As long as he had 100 points, he would release Berserk energy. Everything else was missing, except for the striking energy value. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Purplish Golden God. Damn, it's something useless again. Long Fei exhaled a breath of air and thought to himself, is it so difficult to violently spit out just one immortal crystal? There were only a few days left. Moreover, Long Fei was about to learn from the Mu clan. If he still could not get the immortal crystals for Mu Yun to absorb, then his life. In the distance, Mu Yun sucked all of the 5th stage demon beast dry. His body was like fire, and a layer of red scales were faintly discernible on his body. He was going to transform into a beast. He himself was getting more and more excited, and he had already stepped into the Holy Moon state. His strength was unimaginably great. Right now, the 8-burst fist could practically display its strongest power in his hands. Long Fei looked at him with an even more anxious expression. Berserk, Berserk, can't you give us some strength? He went berserk several times, but didn't drop anything good. He went berserk several times, but didn't drop anything good. It was even starting to make Long Fei doubt his own life. It felt as if Berserk had been crippled. Actually, Berserk energy was also a unique feature. It was not something that could be dropped every time. He had used it frequently, so the items that dropped would definitely not be good. And then there was the boss. If it was a boss, then the items dropped would be good. During this period of time, the demon beasts that the giant golden ape killed were all normal demon beasts, and there were very few high-level demon beasts, let alone a boss. There are still 7 days. Long Fei slowly exhaled a breath of air. Looking at Mu Yun, who was walking towards him, Long Fei was a little anxious in his heart. He was the one who allowed Mu Yun to walk on this path. Now, he couldn't even protect his brother's life. This caused him to feel very uncomfortable in his heart. Mu Yun walked in front of Long Fei, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said excitedly, Boss, I've broken through again, and am already at the 2nd level of the Divine Moon Realm. Haha. He was happy and excited. Every upgrade gave him a different experience. Very good. It was so refreshing to see his strength increase explosively. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, Impressive. Mu Yun said, Boss, it's about time. We have to go back. Long Fei said, The Golden Fur still hasn't finished searching God Living Mountain. Wait another day. Have you forgotten about what you promised senior brother Changfeng? 3 days have already passed, and there are only 2 days left before you give him Fairy Beast Spirit Blood. He is still waiting to save his friend. You can't go back on your promise. Mu Yun knew that Long Fei did it for him. Staying for another day, he wanted to search for Fairy Beastess. However, so many days had passed. Does God Living Mountain have any other fairy beast besides the golden fur? If there was, Blondie would have discovered it long ago. Thus, Mu Yun was very clear in his heart that he might only have a few days left of his life, but he did not feel the slightest bit of resentment towards Long Fei. He thanked Long Fei. Thank you, Long Fei. It was Long Fei that made him feel that he was constantly breaking through and becoming stronger. To someone who desired to become stronger, this was like a gift from heaven. Long Fei said, There's no rush when the time comes. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Mu Yun said, Boss, I want to participate in the South Area's assessment. The examination is going to begin in 2 days. If he still had 7 days of life left, then the thing he wanted to do the most was to pass the examination to become a South Area, gain honor for himself, and gain justice for his family. At the same time, he wanted Mu Yao to give him a serious look. That was his wish before he died. Long Fei could tell from his eyes that he had already made his decision, and said, "All right, let's go back." He knew that Mu Yun still couldn't let Mu Yao go. Immediately, Long Fei moved, golden hair come over. Half a minute later, rumble, rumble, rumble. A series of tremors was like a super earthquake. Suddenly, a huge shadow descended from the sky, heavily landing beside Long Fei, holding onto a few rare spirit grass. The spirit grass passed it to Long Fei, and the golden-furred giant ape asked, "Boss, what's the matter?" Long Fei said straightforwardly, "I want some spirit blood in your body." The golden-furred giant ape said, "You want me, spirit blood?" "Sure." While they were talking, the golden-furred giant ape took out a wine jar from nowhere. A cut appeared on its palm, and its forehead tightened as it controlled the idea. And then, the pure spirit blood continued to surge out and flow into the jar. Spirit blood was like a spring as the jar was filled to the brim in a few seconds. The golden-furred giant ape didn't even bat an eyelid as it asked, "Boss, do we still need more?" Long Fei was stupefied. Initially, he had intended to take out a bottle to fill it up. However, to think that he would be able to fill it up in the blink of an eye. Too terrifying. Long Fei said again, "Enough." The golden-furred giant ape grinned and said, "If it's not enough, then tell me. I don't have much else, except thick skin and a lot of blood." Long Fei kept the jar and even cast a rune to prevent the energy in spirit blood from disappearing. He said, "About the fairy beast." The golden-furred giant ape shook its head. "I haven't found it yet." He looked at Mu Yun and said, "Don't worry, boss matter is my problem. I will definitely find a fairy beast for you." Mu Yun laughed openly and said, "Thank you." Long Fei said, "All right, I want to go first to Mu Clan. You should continue searching for fairy beastess in the mountains, even if you have to turn God living mountain upside down to find them. All the demon beast must be killed. Not even a mosquito should be spared." Although Golden Fur did not know why Long Fei wanted him to kill Demon Beast, he still nodded, "Understood. Go." Long Fei waved his hand. The giant, golden-furred ape immediately jumped out. There were a few thunderous explosions in the distance. This was his playground, where he could play however he wanted. However, the golden-furred giant ape was different from normal fairy beast. Its intelligence was extremely high, and it knew how to read humans' minds. He was very clear that other than him, the God-living mountain did not have any other fairy beast. However, he did not say it, because he did not want to disappoint Long Fei and cause him to lose all hope. Then again, he was Long Fei's war pet. He had to protect his master well. If something happened to Long Fei, he wouldn't be able to sense the dragon's squamous boundary, and he wouldn't be able to live for long. Thus, the distance between him and Long Fei was maintained at a distance of half a minute, and they would arrive at it soon. It seemed like he had run far away, but in reality, he was still within a certain range. Long Fei and Mu Yun rushed back to the eastern district of Mu Clan. At this moment, Mu Clan, Mu Changsheng returned to the northern region. Strangely, he did not complain to Mu Hatai. Instead, he went back to his residence and closed his eyes. This was completely different from his domineering personality. After taking Mu Xingyun's disciple's loss, do you still not want to get it back? He didn't even mention it. It was a little unusual. Mu Yuding went to visit her and was rejected. You said that undead lord, one of the 3 great sky sovereigns of the Xians, would come to the God-living mountain? You want to destroy Mu Clan? Mu Hatai was slightly taken aback. His eyes were somewhat cold and disdainful. Although he did not express it, he felt extremely disdainful in his heart, to the point where he felt that Mu Changfeng was a little funny. What kind of existence was the Xian's? Emperor Xian had not yet become the god of boundary, but there was no doubt that he was the overlord of the divine space. The undead lord was an old monster who had followed the Emperor Xian since the ancient times and survived until now. Even if they were to fight against the ancient family or the top 10 clans, they would not send out their Empyreans to fight because There was no need at all. The Heavenly Sovereign's cultivation realm was already at the peak of the divine space. They were now aiming for a breakthrough instead of annexing their clans and expanding their territory. Xians could not send out Undead Lord. Thus, in his heart, Muhatai didn't believe that the Undead Lord would come to destroy his Mu clan. Mu Changfeng said, "Senior Master, I know it is hard to convince others, but please believe me, the Undead Lord is really coming. We have to be prepared." Before Master went into closed-door cultivation, he had said that if the powerhouse encountered any danger, he could hide in Turtle Mountain. Muhatai's eyes were filled with anger. "Do you want us to be cowards?" Turtle Mountain was a forbidden topic in the Mu clan. Turtle Mountain was a forbidden topic in the Mu clan. It was a special space. If they could go in to hide, even Powerhouse would not be able to find them, nor would they be able to go in. The entire clan could survive in safety. This kind of safe place made Mu clan unable to raise his head, because last time they entered Turtle Mountain, their entire clan had almost been exterminated. Because of a woman. This woman is called Mu Wanner. It was also a chase from the Xians. It was because of this woman that the Mu clan suffered such heavy casualties. At that time, two voices came out from the Mu clan. One was to give up on Mu Wanner, and the other was to protect her. Muhatai was precisely opposing Mu Wanner entering the Turtle Mountain faction. However, at that time, he did not have any authority, nor did he have any authority to speak. When Mu Wanner entered the Turtle Mountain, the Xians' army also took the opportunity to enter. If not for the divine power left behind by the Master, which drove the army of Xians out, the divine space would probably no longer have a Mu clan. It was also because of this matter that Mu Tianha's position in the Mu clan slowly decreased, and Muhatai also gradually became stronger. Because his cultivation and mastery of spatial energy was not as good as Mu Tianha's, he could only manage to reach the highest Elder's level after such a long time. It was because Mu Tianha was injured that he was unable to ascend to the throne. However, now that he heard about Turtle Mountain, he immediately exploded. Mu Changfeng said, "Senior Master, this is what Master instructed me before I went into closed-door cultivation. You agreed to it. You can't go back on your word, right?" Muhatai's eyes tensed up. He stared at Mu Changfeng and asked, "What did you call me?" Mu Changfeng replied, "Martial Uncle." Muhatai coldly snorted and said, "Since you still call me Junior Master, then I am your senior. Were you doubting me just now?" He directly suppressed Mu Changfeng with his seniority. Mu Changfeng's face tensed up and immediately said, "Disciple does not dare." "Very good. Since you know you don't dare, then in the future, just say whatever you want to say. If you don't want to say it, then clear it up for me." Muhatai said. Mu Changfeng said, "Undead Lord coming is a huge matter." Muhatai said, "All right, I already know what you're talking about. I will investigate everything thoroughly. If Undead Lord really wants to come here to eliminate Mu clan, I will keep my promise and bring everyone into Turtle Mountain." Mu Changfeng said, "Martial Uncle, then should we prepare in advance?" Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Muhatai interrupted once again. "Do I need your guidance for anything?" Mu Changfeng replied, "Disciple does not dare." Muhatai said, "All right, you can go now." Mu Changfeng cupped his fists and bowed slightly as he left the courtyard. He had done his best. However, let alone Muhatai, even he himself did not believe that the Undead Lord would come to the God-living mountain. Not only was he humiliated, he even felt displeased with the other party. Similarly, Muhatai was also extremely unhappy. He felt that Mu Changfeng was causing trouble for no reason. No, to be exact, it should be Mu Tianha. No matter what status Mu Changfeng had, he would not dare to joke about such a thing. It was very clear that the one behind this was Mu Tianha. He did not think about the reason behind Mu Tianha's actions. He was only certain in his heart that it was Mu Tianha who had done this, in order to embarrass him. The Undead Lord has already been brought out. Why not say that the three sky sovereigns of the Xians are here? Big brother, oh big brother, you are already in seclusion. Why don't you stop for a while? Can't you see me as the head of the family? Sure. If you make me unhappy, I will make you unhappy too. Mu Hatai looked at Mu Chongfeng's disappearing figure. He secretly clenched his fists, his eyes suddenly brimming with a gloomy, killing intent. If one wasn't ruthless, one wouldn't be able to stand steadily. If his heart did not kill, it would not be sent out. Mu Hatai felt that if the Mu clan was to be completely controlled by him, then he would have to get rid of all those who were related to Mu Tianhe. First was the 7 strongmen of North Region. However, 7 strongmen of North Region was publicly recognized as a genius by everyone in the Mu clan and was also Mu Tianhe's successor. It wouldn't be that easy to kill them. Assassination was impossible. He must find a reason to not only get rid of them, but also blame it on Mu Tianhe. Mu Hatai rolled his eyes slightly as he tried to think of a way. Great senior brother, what did that old Mu Hatai say? Mu walked up and asked. Everyone looked at Mu Chongfeng, who shook his head and laughed bitterly. What can you say? I don't believe it at all. I'm afraid he won't send people to investigate. Young Master Mu said, Forget about him. Even I wouldn't believe you. Ah, undead lord, one of the 3 great Empyreans of the Xians, that old monster that has lived for countless years. Why did you come to destroy our Mu clan? Even if the Xians is unhappy with us, he would not send him out. Come on. Yeah, I think so too. However, there must be a reason behind Boss's words. I don't think Boss has any reason to lie to us. He just knows something that we don't know about. What do we do now? Mu Hatai doesn't want to send people. Why don't we go check for ourselves? After all, this concerns the life and death of our Mu clan. If what Boss said is the truth, then we. Mu Chongfeng nodded his head. You are right. This is a matter of life and death for Mu clan, for Master, and for Mu clan, we have to investigate thoroughly. Okay, 6th, 7th brother, stay at home, and the others will go out to investigate. Young Master Mu immediately said, Great senior brother, I also want to go out. Mu Chongfeng said, You guys stay here. I think it's time for Boss to return from the mountain. Go to the East region now. Fairy Beast Spirit Blood's matter is very important. It's Master's deadline today. Mu Ro replied softly, All right, I'll head there now. Mu Chongfeng said, Let's do it. We will leave as well. The 7 of them separated. The 5 of them left the North District, while the other 2 went to the East District. Soon, Mu Hatai just knew that Mu Chongfeng and the other 3 had left the Northern region. 1.5 days later, Long Fei and Mu Yun returned to the east side. The 2 did not return to their residences to rest, but went straight to the registration office. Counting the time, today was the last day. Because they didn't change their clothes, many of the disciples on the way were looking at them with disdain as they mocked them. Do you also want to register as a service disciple? Probably to sweep the latrine pit next to the registration office? Haha, doesn't that kid fly? It's him who offended Goddess Mu Yao. He even offended Senior Brother Mu Ling. I heard that the elders of the South area have specially recruited the Mu Ling senior brother. Senior Sister Mu Yao seems to know how to make special admissions too, but he still has to take one. Seems like this good-for-nothing service disciple is a lucky star. Haha. Not far away, it was bustling with noise and excitement. It wasn't that there were too many people registering, but rather there were many people who wanted to know who was participating in the exam. Long Fei and Mu Yun walked to the registration area, handed over their identity jade plates, and said, Register for assessment. Register for the assessment. Register for the assessment. It was not loud, but the surroundings suddenly quietened down. Everyone's eyes turned towards Long Fei and Yushan. They were stunned. Even the elders who had registered for the competition stared at them blankly. Servant-disciple test. For the first time, did I hear wrong? Are these 2 people taking the exam as well? Was his brain filled with water, or was he just a pair of idiots? What did service disciples mean? A good-for-nothing with low talent, a person who basically had no hope in life. This kind of person could only be a servant in the Mu clan for his entire life. Examination? This had nothing to do with them. Poochie. Someone couldn't hold it in anymore and burst out in laughter. Ha 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 ha. Am I hearing things? You two service disciples also wish to take part in the examination? Some people started to laugh, and the people around them also started to laugh. Ha ha ha. Ha. You want to participate in an examination with trash like you? Do you think that this is an assessment or a scam? Just you? Are you all here to make fun of me? Why aren't you all taking a piss? Do you think that you're the only ones who want to take the examination? Are you qualified? Do you know what the examination is? Many people mocked him. Mu Yun clenched his fists tightly. His eyes turned sinister, his face full of anger. He was different. Ever since he had swallowed the beast blood, he could not control his temper. If he was displeased, his face would immediately change. Looking at the mocking expressions on the surrounding people, he couldn't help but want to use the 8 explosion fist to punch them. Long Fei pulled him back, looked at the registration elder again, and said, "Elder, let's register for the assessment." Very serious. The crowd laughed again. The registration elder looked at Long Fei and felt that Long Fei was playing with him. He could not help but snort coldly and said, "This is not a place where you servant disciples can play. Go back to where you belong." Long Fei said, "What is the place we should be? Can't service disciples register?" The elder didn't say anything. From afar, a familiar voice could be heard. "So it's the Pill Academy's spirit grassmaster, Mu Ling." His face was full of pride as he sneered. "The place that service disciples should stay is naturally the service courtyard, or use a broom to clean the latrine. Right? You should have stayed in the latrine." Mu Yao also came along with him. There were also a few other outstanding disciples of the Eastern District. All of them stared at Long Fei with ridicule. "That brat is Mu Fei. He's the one who bullied you. Sister Yao, this is the kid, a crappy service disciple? Junior Sister Yao, with just a single word from you, I will go up and cripple him right now." All of them wanted to show off in front of Mu Yao, just like how a peacock fights over its mating rights. Mu Yao's eyes were very calm and coldly looked at Long Fei. There was no anger in his eyes, because there was absolutely no need for it. Long Fei was safe and did not have the qualifications. She had already been selected by the South Area Clan Elder, so she came here to participate in the assessment only to pass a formality. A mere service disciple was destined to not belong to the same world as her. Mu Yao said indifferently, "We are here to register for the assessment. Why do you care about an ant in the sky? Ants are destined to be unable to fly in the sky." "Ha ha! I only know that Junior Sister Mu's cultivation is outstanding, but I didn't expect Wen Kai to be so special too." He looked at the ant in the sky. "Ha ha ha! It was used so beautifully." Mu Ling looked at Long Fei's face full of ridicule and said, "Looking at the ants in the sky, ha ha ha." The people who were accompanying them all began to laugh. Mu Yao did not laugh, but she did not look at Long Fei again. Mu Yin clenched his fist so tightly that it sounded like he was about to go berserk. Long Fei pulled him back. "Don't be angry. Save your anger for the time of the assessment. This is the east side. If they were to fight here, then their qualifications to register would really be lost. They might even be expelled from Mu Clan. No need at all. You can play slowly during the exam. Even if you don't want to die, you should at least be a half cripple." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "All the senior brother S are sky sculptures, and there are even more of them. Powerful, powerful, they're all powerful people." Mu Ling smiled proudly and replied, "Of course. A service disciple like you can only look up to us." A disciple asked, "Senior brother Mu Ling, what are sculptures? What are these eagles with so much feathers?" Mu Ling replied, "It should be a type of bird. Ferocious flying beasts, it should be." Long Fei said, Yes, senior brother is right. The furry eagles are the fierce flying beasts, the bird that specialize in attacking the chrysanthemum monster. They are really powerful." Engraving feathers. Mu Ling proudly said, "Junior brother, you have become more sensible this month." A group of people walked up. Mu Yin kept on looking at Mu Yao, his gaze not moving at all. His eyeballs were about to pop out, wanting nothing more than to embed itself onto Mu Yao's body. Seeing Mu Yao walk to his side, Mu Yun controlled herself with all her might and said gently, "Senior sister." Mu Yao was completely indifferent and did not even take a single glance, as if the voice just now had not come out yet. There were no servant disciples in her world. Mu Yin simply did not exist for her. Mu Yin thought that Mu Yao did not hear it, and his voice rose by a few notches as he said, "Senior sister, Mu Yao did not stop for a moment. She did not turn around, and like before, there were no service disciples in her world. One of the disciples sneered and said, "Idiot, why don't you judge yourself by your appearance? Do you think a service disciple would want to get along with a goddess? Who do you think you are?" Before he finished speaking, Long Fei's gaze darkened. His speed was extremely fast, and not a single person in the vicinity reacted as he grabbed onto that disciple's collar and lifted him into the air with one hand. In this instant, he was even more furious than Mu Yun. If his two brothers didn't have any immortal crystals to fuse with, they wouldn't have many days to live. How could they allow others to humiliate them? It happened all of a sudden. The surrounding crowd was stunned. Mu Ling looked at Long Fei and was a little unable to react. She shouted, "Mu Fei, what are you trying to do?" The disciple was also shocked. Looking at Long Fei's cold eyes, he nearly pooped out his pants as his face became deathly pale. It was very hard. "Kid, what do you want to do? You dare to make a move here? Are you looking to die?" A mere service disciple dares to be so arrogant. Even the registration elder stood up and scolded Long Fei. Long Fei did not care at all. Instead, he stared at the disciple and said, "I will only say this once, apologize." The disciple's mouth trembled, wanting to resist. However, looking at Long Fei's bloodthirsty eyes, it was as though he would die the next second if he did not apologize. He immediately said, Yes, I'm sorry." Long Fei said, "Not for me, but for him." The disciple looked at Mu Yun again and said, Yes, I'm sorry, I was wrong." Long Fei looked at Mu Yao, who did not turn his head around, and his eyes narrowed slightly as he thought in his heart, "Fuck, if I don't get you into my brother's bed, this daddy will not let you go." His hand loosened, and the disciple fell to the ground. Long Fei coldly snorted and said, "High above, iceberg, goddess? Today you ignore my brother. Tomorrow I will make it so that you can't climb higher." Long Fei was very angry. However, he was unable to help Mu Yun in matters like emotions. However, Mu Yao looked down on Mu Yun, and tomorrow he would let Mu Yao have the upper hand. Mu Yao did not turn back, nor did he say anything else. He still chose to ignore her because Long Fei was the same as Mu Yun. They were both service disciples. People from different worlds. There was no need to waste time on them. But just because Mu Yao did not speak, did it not mean that the followers beside her would let Long Fei go. Mu Ling immediately jumped out and scolded, "Mu Fei, do you know who you're talking to? Who do you think you are? What do you mean by don't care? Do you want to know your identities? You are service disciples, do you understand? You two can only help us clean the yard and manger all your lives. What do you two think you're going to do? Do you want to go to heaven? You are the only ones who want to take the examination. Didn't you see that everyone around you is laughing at you? You two are ants. We can crush you with one kick, do you understand?" Several disciples fiercely insulted him. To help Mu Yao vent his anger, many of the surrounding disciples also revealed looks of ridicule. Long Fei laughed coldly. "What's your identity? All right, you will know tomorrow." Finished. Long Fei pulled Mu Yun in front of the registration elder and said once more, "The registration assessment." "Ha!" There were still a lot of people laughing. The registration elder shouted, "If you continue to mess around, don't blame me for being impolite." Long Fei said, "The Mu clan's rules state that service disciples are not allowed to register for the assessment. Is there? If there is, please show it to me. If not, then please register our names." The registration elder was stunned by Long Fei's question. Indeed, there were no rules that prohibited service disciples from taking the exam. For a time, the elder was unable to react. At this time, Mu Yao said lightly, "There are no rules in the family that no service disciple can participate in the exam, but for service disciples to participate in the assessment, they must meet the following conditions. First, elders or disciples from higher level regions must complete the class mission, and second, they must complete both conditions. The few words that seemed to be spoken in a dull manner were like a violent thunderbolt that came crashing down. The registration elder immediately said, Right, 2 conditions. Have you fulfilled them? Elder's recommendation? Which elder's guild would recommend a service disciple to take the examination? His brain was almost convulsing. In the history of the Mu clan, there had never been a servant disciple who had participated in an assessment before, and the Elders Guild had never sacrificed their own reputation to recommend a service disciple. As for the second condition, an A-grade mission was even more impossible. Even if it was an elite disciple of the South area, a Mystic Moon Realm expert would find it difficult to complete the Grade A mission in the Eastern District alone. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone immediately asked, which Elders Guild is recommending them? Exactly. Servant disciples are destined not to pass the exam. Whoever recommends them will be slapping themselves in the face. An A-grade mission is even more impossible. Not a single person managed to complete an A-grade mission this year, let alone the 2 service disciples. Brat, you should go home and wash up. Tomorrow, get up early and clean the latrine. Ha ha! Everyone laughed out loud. Mu Yao's eyes were also filled with contempt. Mu Ling and the others were all grinning from ear to ear, but it was as if Mu Yao's few words had sent the 2 of them into the depths of hell. The registration elder sneered and asked, Do you have any recommendations from the elders? Is there? He asked a few times. Long Fei frowned. At this moment, Mu Xingyun appeared out of nowhere, his face full of filth, his hair a mess, as if his alchemy had exploded. He laughed a few times and said, What? Could it be that my disciple still requires the recommendation of an elder? Everyone looked at him. Many people were whispering, Where did this stinky beggar come from? Why is there a beggar in Mu clan? Who is this old man? The distance between the east and west region was too far, and most people didn't know who Mu Xingyun was, but Mu Ling did. The registration elder also recognized it at a glance. He was so frightened that he almost fell down from his chair and hurriedly went forward to welcome her. Elder Xingyun, what brings you here? Mu Ling also hugged her hands, bowed, and respectfully said, Elder Xingyun. Mu Xingyun didn't even look at him. She walked forward and sat on the chair as she looked at the registration elder and coldly snorted. He's my disciple. Do you still need to recommend him? The registration elder quickly said, Of course, your disciple doesn't need to recommend you. No need. How could a mere elder of the Eastern District offend the great elder of the West District? Mu Xingyun snapped. Then what are we waiting for? Why don't you hurry up and register your name onto the list? After he finished speaking, he looked towards Long Fei and grinned. No matter how he looked at it, Long Fei liked it all. He now knew that Long Fei had ruthlessly humiliated Mu Changsheng, and he also knew that the pills used to save 7 strongmen of North Region were not refined by him. Then there was only one possibility, that Long Fei had refined it himself. He was hiding his strength. From the look in his eyes, Long Fei could tell that Mu Xingyun definitely knew what had happened in the mountain. It was just that, was he not suppressed by Mu Changsheng? Logically speaking, if he were to return to the Mu clan, he would definitely take revenge. Mu Xingyun was his target, but he did not act like this. The registration elder walked to the front of the table and registered Long Fei's name. At this time, Mu Yao said, Some elders only fulfill the first condition, and the second condition is not met. So according to the clan rules, you are not allowed to participate in the exam. He spoke again. This time, not many disciples agreed, because they knew Mu Xingyun was the elder of the Western region. The registration elder hesitated. Mu Xingyun felt that he had lost face as well, but he was unable to do anything about it. Family rules were family rules. Even if he was fighting in the West Region Academy, he had to follow them. With a huff, he said, Brat, come with me to the West Region. I will make you an elite disciple of the West Region. Why are you making things so troublesome? Mu Yao's expression was very calm as he said, Elder, it is your business who you want to bring to the West Region. However, one must meet the requirements to participate in the exam. Everyone must abide by the family rules. Mu Xingyun was so angry that she did not have a temper. Family rules outweighed everything else. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, I didn't know in the past, but now I understand women are truly not to be offended. But as for me, I like to offend a self-righteous woman like you. While they were talking, he took out his identity jade token and said, I have not completed the A class mission for the Eastern District. However, I have completed the A class mission for the Northern District. Elder, you can go investigate. A level mission from the North? If words could not shock people to death, they would not rest until they looked at Long Fei with their mouths agape. He didn't believe it at all. At this moment, Mu Rou and young Master Mu came out. We can bear witness to this point. The two of them have completed the level mission in the northern region. In this instant, everyone was stupefied. A level mission? A level mission? Furthermore, it was in a class mission from the northern region? How is that possible? It had been a year since anyone had completed an A-grade mission in the Eastern District. It was a fantasy for two service disciples to complete an A-grade mission in the Northern District. Everyone looked towards Mu Rou and young Master Mu. Other than Mu Xingyun, whose expression slightly changed, no one else recognized them. However, when Mu Rou appeared, her gaze was locked onto Mu Ruyu. So beautiful. Who is this senior sister? Heavens, she is actually more beautiful than senior sister Mu Yao. Who is she? I haven't seen him before. Is he a new junior sister? She's really prettier than senior sister Mu Yao. Mu Yao was publicly acknowledged as the #1 beauty in the Eastern District. But the moment Mu Rou appeared, regardless of temperament, looks, or even the aura emitted from his body, they were all lacking by half. Mu Yao also glanced at Mu Rou. Her expression was very calm, but she lightly clenched her fists. Mu Ling was also attracted by Mu Rou's words, but he was very clear that his enemy was Mu Fei. Moreover, these two people were very unfamiliar with each other. It was very possible that they were new disciples and didn't need to give him face. Immediately, Mu Ling sneered. You all want to prove it? What proof do you have? What proof do you have? Where are you all anyway? With just the two of them, they probably don't even know where the northern region is, let alone the grade A mission. You're going to complete and level mission just like that? How ridiculous. Many people in the surrounding crowd agreed. That's right. Do they know where the North District is? A level mission? Why don't you say that you've already completed the S class mission? 2 service disciples can complete an A class mission. Are you all here to make fun of me? Who are you? You can prove it. No one believed what Mu Rou said. Mu Rou didn't want to explain herself, but the corner of young Master Mu's mouth curved into a smile as he walked in front of the registration elder. At this moment, Mu Xingyun suddenly stood up, his body bowing slightly. Not many people noticed this detail. The registration elder asked, What are you planning to do? Young Master Mu said, Come, look clearly at what this is. He handed over the jade token at his waist. When the registration elder saw the color of the jade token, the expression in his eyes immediately changed. He bent his body and respectfully said, Sir, a blue jade token. They were at least elite disciples. A disciple of the Eastern District didn't have such an identity. It must be the South area. Mu Yao was also startled. She didn't know why Long Fei had such a relationship with an elite disciple, but after the incident with training the College of Martial Arts training, she hated Long Fei to the extreme in her heart. Thus, Mu Yao said, even South area would not be able to prove that they have completed an A class mission, right? Furthermore, it's the grade A mission from the northern region. Young Master Mu did not look at Mu Yao, but looked at the registration elder and said indifferently, I think it would be best for you to look at this clearly. The registration elder flipped the jade token to the other side and was stunned. He had seen a blue jade plate before, but this one was different from other blue jade plates. There was a word written on the back of it. It was a character he did not recognize, similar to a strange rune. He didn't know her. Mu Xingyun took a step forward and said, This jade tablet is called the Heavenly Jade Plate. In the Mu clan, there are a total of 7. Each jade tablet is made by the old patriarch personally, and this represents the approval of the old patriarch, and also means that his disciple has a total of 7 jade plates in the Mu clan. As he said that, the registration elder lost his voice and said, 7 strong men of North Region, the legacy disciple of the old patriarch. At this moment, he was so scared that he directly kneeled down and raised the jade token with trembling hands. Many of the surrounding disciples were still in a daze. 7 strong men of North Region? What is a 7 strong men of North Region? Could they be the direct disciples of the old chief? Instantly, the expressions of many people changed. Those who mocked them earlier all lowered their heads, not daring to look at them again. Young Master Mu looked at Mu Xingyun and said respectfully, Elder Xingyun. This name made Mu Xingyun feel even more excitement. He knew that this was the glory that Long Fei brought him, and he silently thought in his heart, this kid is doing better than me. 7 strong men of North Region has come out to help. Young Master Mu took back the jade token and looked at the registration elder. Can I prove it now? The registration elder repeatedly nodded and said, yes, yes, yes. Young Master Mu laughed. Then what are we waiting for? Why aren't you registering your name? Do you want me to register myself? The registration elder's lips were trembling. He immediately stood up and said, I don't dare, I don't dare. Mu Rou also walked up to Mu Yao's side and said indifferently, there are some people that you wouldn't even be able to compare to in your entire lifetime. You think that he is an ant looking up at the sky, but you don't know that what he looks up at is not the sky, but the entire wild universe, and you think you're high and mighty, but in his world you're nothing. You don't even exist. A few simple sentences. Mu Yao's mind was almost blown away. His knees were trembling, his back and palms were covered in cold sweat. This was not pressure, but rather an aura. Standing by her side, she was being crushed by this powerful aura. If the two of them were to use coercion, then she would only need to kneel on the ground. Mu Yao wanted to refute her. She wanted to argue. Even if the service disciple had a strong relationship with him, he was still a service disciple and was just a good-for-nothing with low talent. She wanted to say, however, after Mu Rou finished speaking, she walked in front of Long Fei and respectfully said, Boss. Young Master Mu also walked forward. Boss. Long Fei nodded and smiled. Why are you here? Young Master Mu smiled. We've been waiting for your return the entire time. As he spoke, he placed a hand on Mu Yun's shoulder and said, Mu Yun, you didn't inform me either, so I can go and receive you. Yo, your cultivation has increased again. Isn't this speed too abnormal? The two of them were like brothers. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded, especially when Mu Rou and young Master Mu, who shouted boss at Long Fei, their jaws dropped to the ground. They couldn't believe it. The service disciples of the East Region were called the bosses by the 7 strong men of North Region. What kind of world was this? Mu Ling wanted to argue on behalf of Mu Yao, but at this moment, he completely shut his mouth. Mu Yao was the same. He couldn't say a word. It was just as Mu Rou had said. In his world, you are nothing, you don't even exist. Not only Long Fei's world, even Mu Yun's world. Mu Yao felt very uncomfortable, very unhappy. Under his sleeves, he could not help but clench his fists while clenching his teeth. At this moment, Mu Yao was thinking about the competition tomorrow. She wanted to defeat Long Fei. She wanted to let Long Fei suffer a crushing defeat. She wanted a service disciple to disappear from her world forever. 1 month ago, she lost to Long Fei, but now she would not lose again. She had already stepped into the Divine Moon realm. She firmly believed that she could defeat Long Fei. After reporting, Long Fei and the others returned to his residence. Mu Xingyun stayed outside the courtyard, so he did not follow him in. Mu Rou and young Master Mu's statuses were much higher than his. With them here, it would be difficult for Mu Xingyun to enter. Thus, he waited quietly outside the door. Young Master Mu walked into the courtyard and looked around before asking, Boss, is this also a place for people to live? Let's go. I'll take you to the North Region. Long Fei laughed and said, "It doesn't matter where I live. This place is pretty good too." Mu Rou replied, "Boss, you don't need to be like that. With your talent and attainments in alchemy, even if it's the northern region, you can still enter directly." Aside from their master, Long Fei was the only person in the entire Mu clan that their 7 strong men of North region admired. Long Fei also smiled and said, "Low profile, low profile." He had always been a passerby in the Mu clan. Even though he was his grandfather's family, he had no intention of staying. He only wanted to finish off the Undead Lord and then leave. He wanted to find Lu Luoshi. He wanted to find Phoenix. He wanted to destroy Xian's. He also had a lot of things to do, so he couldn't stay in Mu clan for too long. Once he couldn't find a place to level up, he would leave. If not for Mu Yun, Long Fei would not even have participated in this assessment. Long Fei glanced at Mu Xingyun, who was at the door, and took out the big jar containing the seal golden-furred spirit blood. "This is the fairy beast, spirit blood." When young Master Mu saw such a huge vat, he was stupefied. The two of them stared at Long Fei without moving. Mu Rou was also shocked. Young Master Mu asked, "Boss, this jar is full of fairy beast spirit blood?" Long Fei said, "Amen, is that enough? If it's not enough, I'll think of something." "Enough, enough, enough. That's enough." Young Master Mu took the jar. He looked dead and sunken in excitement as he said, "Boss, my admiration for you is like an endless river." Mu Rou said, "Boss, are all of them fairy beast spirit blood?" She was in disbelief. Although he knew that Long Fei was very special, the 7 of them together weren't a match for the fairy beast. How could one kill fairy beast at the Divine Moon Realm? To obtain so many spirit blood Long Fei said, "Don't worry, spirit blood inside is very pure. I was just lucky to meet an injured fairy beast and let spirit blood out. It's just that in the end, he managed to escape, or else I would have been able to obtain immortal crystals." Long Fei casually made up a few sentences, immediately changed the topic, and asked, "How is the matter that I'm giving you guys?" Young Master Mu sighed. "Mu Hitai doesn't believe what the great senior brother has said at all." Mu Rou replied, "Boss, you have to make those elders from the northern region believe that the Undead Lord will come to the Mu clan for evidence. Otherwise, the thing that Long Fei was worried about still happened. Indeed, what kind of identity does the Undead Lord have? Even if the Xians wanted to destroy the Mu clan, there was no need to send someone like him to battle. He was one of the 3 great Empyreans, someone who lived in the same period as the Emperor Xian. The Mu clan did not even have a need for him to go out. As for the evidence, Long Fei was unable to provide any information. He couldn't possibly say that the Undead Lord was here for him, right? Even if he said so, no one would believe him. Mu Rou looked at Long Fei, who was frowning deeply every day, and said, "Boss, the great senior brother and the rest went out to look for evidence. If the Undead Lord really came, they would have definitely discovered it beforehand." Without waiting for her to finish speaking, Long Fei's face changed as he interrupted her. "How long have Chong Feng and the others been gone for?" Young Master Mu said, "The great senior brother left in the afternoon. The 5 senior brother are split into 5 groups to investigate." This is bad. Long Fei never thought that Mu Chong Feng and the others would go out to look for evidence. He was 100% sure that the Undead Lord would come. If they went out like this, they would definitely die if they were discovered. Long Fei asked, "Can you catch up to them now?" Mu Rou replied, "The senior brother do not have a fixed location or a fixed direction. It will be difficult to catch up to them." "What's wrong?" Long Fei said, "If we meet Undead Lord, it will be troublesome." This time, Long Fei was very worried in his heart. Mu Chongfeng's group of 5 were all grandfather's legacy disciples. If something were to happen to them, how would Long Fei be able to face grandfather? Moreover, this matter was because of him. Long Fei shook his head. "Nothing. Didn't you guys want spirit blood to save people? You guys go ahead. When we get back to the North District, you don't need to do anything, nor do you need to explain anything to the clan leader. If Zhang Feng and the rest come back, then I will have to tell them not to go out." "Oh," young Master Mu replied. He didn't know what to say when he saw Long Fei's serious expression. They weren't nervous at all. In fact, he didn't believe that the undead lord would come to the god-living mountain either. Muro did not think too much either. Fairy beast spirit blood had to be handed to Master today, so she did not linger and said, "Boss, we will be leaving first. Tomorrow's examination." Long Fei said, "Don't worry about the assessment." Young Master Mu laughed. "I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the people who will participate in the exam with you. It's too miserable." Ha ha ha. After the two of them left, Mu Xingyun quickly entered the courtyard and looked at Long Fei with a face filled with excitement. No matter how one looked, he liked him and said, "Good boy, you sure hid your skills well. At the start, I thought you were a talented spirit grass master, but who would have thought that you were an alchemy master? How did you refine that kind of pill? Breaking of the soul, shattering of the chi sea, severely injuring the internal organs. I can't even imagine what kind of pill could save him. That's amazing." Mu Xingyin wanted to hug Long Fei and madly kiss him a few times. Long Fei said, "Mu Changsheng did not cause any trouble for you, right?" "No. Right now, he's like a rooster that's lost in a battle. After returning from the mountains, he's locked himself in the courtyard and has been causing trouble for me. You were defeated by my disciple, and now you still want to find trouble with me? Ha ha. It's a pity. It's a pity that I wasn't present then. Otherwise, I would have definitely ruthlessly humiliated him. Ha ha ha." Mu Xingyun laughed excitedly and said, "Brat, you really didn't disappoint me. This is too relieving. I've always been suppressed by him, and now I've finally taken my revenge. Ha ha ha. However, this old thing Mu Changsheng is a sinister villain. You must be careful." Mu Xingyun was a little worried and said, "Tomorrow is the examination day. I'm worried that Mu Changsheng will send people to deal with you. I don't have anything good either. Here is a spirit recovery pill. It can make you explode with several times the power in an instant without any side effects." That was why he had come today. He couldn't help Long Fei too much. After all, he was only an elder of the West region, while Mu Changsheng was an elder of the North region, an elder of the Judgment Pavilion. If they really were to go against Long Fei, Mu Xingyun would not be able to help much. "Thank you," Long Fei said seriously. "Ha ha ha. I still need to thank you for avenging me." Mu Xingyun laughed as he walked out of the courtyard. Only Long Fei and Mu Yun, who was sitting in a corner, remained in the courtyard. He should have felt some pain in his heart. He only wanted Mu Yao to look at him seriously, but today, Mu Yao didn't even look at him. Long Fei did not want to disturb him either. He was worried that something might have happened to Mu Changfeng, so the idea moved. Boom, 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 boom. A series of 6 dark silhouettes appeared out of thin air within the courtyard. The 6 of them were dressed in black robes and black cloaks and wore masks. Undead ghost. All 6 of them. They were none other than the undead ghost that Long Fei had killed. After being reforged by the god's pavilion soul for a few days, their bodies have been reforged one after another. Furthermore, their cultivation levels were the same as before. The only difference was they didn't have their old consciousness. They only had one consciousness. Their master was Long Fei. Long Fei looked at the 6 of them and said excitedly, "God's Pavilion, you're amazing, my brother." God's Pavilion was also very pleased and said, "Average." Not at all. It had to be known that this was because of the power inside Long Fei's pubes. Otherwise, it would take at least a year to recreate their bodies using the power of the Holy Source. It would only take a few days to use the power of Long Fei's pubes, and it would be 6 of them at the same time. In other words, in just a few days, 6 experts of the realm of Howren were reborn. Long Fei asked, "Can I use it now?" God's Pavilion said, "Of course, as long as you inject the idea S. They're completely under your control. They can do whatever you want." "Is there a distance limit?" Long Fei asked again. God's Pavilion said, "No, as long as they are still alive, they will be in your control, no matter where. But you must know one thing. After they are dead, they will not be able to reform their soul. After all, they're all formed from a single soul, so theoretically speaking, they cannot be considered human." His soul was reforming his body. Even the ancient almighty powerhouse could not do it. Long Fei replied, "Understood." God's pavilion said, "If you want to use it, infuse it with the idea now. Their ideas are completely under your control." All right. Long Fei didn't hesitate as the idea moved, directly pouring the idea into the six people's sea of consciousness through the God's pavilion. In an instant, a gleam of light flashed in the eyes of the six people. They looked at Long Fei with a heavy expression and said, "Master." Long Fei snickered. In his mind, he controlled the six ideas. Interesting. And then, Long Fei ordered, "Help me find Mu Chongfeng's group of 5. Bring them back as soon as you find them." The six of them replied at the same time, "As you wish." "Go," Long Fei said. The six of them turned into 6 black shadows. They moved and instantly disappeared. Long Fei sighed. "These people don't know if the experience gained from killing demon beast belongs to me. If you count it as my experience, then..." Long Fei's eyes flashed. "Try next time." God's pavilion said, "Although the 6 of them are under your control, their daily missions will consume your energy. So right now, the energy stored within their bodies can be maintained for around 10 days or so." "Huh, why didn't you say anything at the beginning?" Long Fei muttered. God's pavilion said, "You didn't ask in the beginning, and you have more pubes than others, so using it doesn't matter at all. F***CK. Just because the pubes, am strong does not mean I do not care." Long Fei said lightly and didn't mind it much. Just like what the God's pavilion had said, his pubes' power was too strong. It could not affect his energy consumption at all. According to him, there was a time limit on the person who would be reborn in God's pavilion. Once the energy was used up, they would have to recharge it. Just like charging a phone. If you run out of electricity, you have to charge it. When I thought about pubes, Long Fei secretly tightened the space between my eyebrows. If I can use the spirit moon realm to sense the glowing plane inside the pubes and draw out that power, then can I, in the limitless realm, still sense that power? In the God-living mountain, if not for the power of the pubes released by the spirit moon sect, he would already be dead. That energy is extremely powerful. It was easy to say that he had killed the Howren realm powerhouse, but until now, Long Fei had not managed to grasp that degree of power, and if he didn't use it properly, he would devour himself. Let's give it a try. Long Fei sat cross-legged, the idea moved, and directly entered the pubes. In a vast universe, Long Fei's idea was like a speck of dust, very little only. This tiny speck of dust could think of the entire universe. Huff! Long Fei released the power of the limitless realm. He released his strength. In this star relate to Dantian, this force was like a wanderer, lonely and helpless. Against the starry sky, this power was too weak. Long Fei's idea was unceasingly feeling it. The plane of the star relate to Dantian was too big, too big. It was simply unable to feel its limit. Can't you find it? Could it be that only the power of the lunar scourge can find a matching power? I can't possibly stay in the divine moon realm all my life, right? Furthermore, I have already leveled up to the boundless realm. Long Fei was very gloomy when he was using the holy moon state. As long as he released the power of the divine moon, he would immediately be able to sense that the light plane released the power of the sun and moon. But now, Long Fei had already searched for a while, but the pubes did not have any energy to appear. Long Fei was a little depressed, just when he wanted to retract his strength. Suddenly, a ray of light pierced the night sky. In an instant, rumble. That beam of light was directly linked to the infinity energy Long Fei released. Buzz. An ear-piercing buzz exploded. Long Fei's eardrums almost exploded. The instant his power connected, a huge primal chaos diagram appeared at the point of the energy link. Yin-Yang Taiji. It was as though his strength had exploded. Holy **T. This power, damn, this is even stronger than the power of the sun and moon. This, Long Fei could feel the power inside the primal chaos diagram. His blood boiled, and every hair on his body stood on end. If I can release this power, then what? Long Fei carefully controlled it. and did not dare to rashly release his power. He was worried, will destroy the entire Mu clan. This was because the power of the primal chaos diagram was truly intrepid. One miscontrol. Continue. Another failure. Continue. Long Fei continued to search for the right place. He believed that the later realms were fine as well. Moreover, the higher his realm level was, the stronger the corresponding strength would be among the pubes. But the fusion point was common. As long as he found the fusion point, Long Fei would be able to control the power of the pubes. The pubes' power would be under his control. Then who did he have to be afraid of? Worked hard the entire night. However, he still did not find the right place in the morning. Long Fei was not worried. The pubes was in his body. As long as he did not die, he could cultivate and find the perfect place to cultivate. If one night was not enough, then 10 days. If 10 days were not enough, then a month would have passed. As long as he found the perfect match point, he believed that would be the time to destroy everything. In the morning, the sun was shining in the yard. Long Fei's eyes slightly opened and spat out a mouthful of impure qi, after which he looked at Mu Yun, who had similarly not slept a night and was still squatting in the corner. Long Fei was cultivating. Mu Yun would never rest. Long Fei walked to his side and patted his shoulder, saying, "Let's go, today is your big day." Long Fei had said that since you like to ignore him today, then you wouldn't be able to climb up tomorrow. Long Fei had said that since you like to ignore him today, then you wouldn't be able to climb up tomorrow. What kind of woman was Mu Yao? In reality, she knew very well what she wanted. Just like the women on Earth in his previous life, if they wanted money, houses, and a car, no one would give them a second look. However, what they saw was only in front of their eyes. Potential was the true way. Mu Yun's current realm was even stronger than Mu Yao's, and the 8 explosion fist he cultivated was even fiercer than Mu Yao's. His physical body, his speed, his strength. It could be said that in the entire Eastern District's younger generation, there was no one who could match up to him. Obviously, Miao did not know about this. To her, Mu Yun was just a low-level talent with no future service disciple. She could not waste her time on such people. Moreover, Long Fei had humiliated her before, so she did not place him in her eyes at all. Mu Yun stood up, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Boss, I suddenly don't want to participate in the assessment anymore." He had thought a lot that night. He felt that it was meaningless. He also knew that he might not have many days left to live. "It doesn't matter." Long Fei fiercely snorted and said, "A woman defeated you. Are you still my brother? The woman that I, Long Fei's brother, likes, even if the other party does not like you, I will still obtain her no matter what method I use. Because you're my brother." Understood. Mu Yun thought about many things during the night. At this moment, he was like a person who had lost all will to fight. It did not have the beastly nature of a beast in the mountains. Mu Yun looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss." Long Fei interrupted, "Don't talk to me so much. The more you look down on her, the more you have to let her see for herself how foolish she was back then." Mu Yun still did not have a single ounce of spirit, and his heart was very tired. The eggplant was frosted ordinary. Long Fei was also furious in his heart, and directly said, "It's fine if you don't participate. You are my brother. If I don't return, I will destroy you as a woman. So I will kill her during the assessment." Very serious. If the two Mu Yun-s did not participate, he would really do so. Mu Yun's eyes turned cold. His gaze immediately changed as he said, "Boss." Long Fei asked, "Just tell me whether or not you are participating. Don't waste my breath." Mu Yun hesitated for 2 seconds before saying, "Yes." Long Fei said, "Then follow me." Long Fei walked out of the courtyard. Mu Yun followed him. He still could not let Mu Yao go. Even after a night of hard work, he still could not let it go. He really liked Mu Yao. The East Square was bustling with noise and excitement. Today was the big day of the assessment. To some disciples, this was probably the most important day of their lives. Upon entering the South area, one's life trajectory would definitely change. It was full of people early in the morning. Long Fei did not sleep for the entire night, but since he was currently in the limitless realm, his sleepless night was of no consequence. Not long after, he brought Mu Yun here as well. Their appearance immediately attracted countless gazes. That's Mu Fei. It's those two service disciples. I heard they are the disciples of the West Region's elders? It's not just the West Region elders. Even the senior brother-S in the North Region are related to them. Who the hell are these two people? What's the use of having so many connections? The assessment is a competition of strength and cultivation, not relationships. I think those two service disciples will be eliminated in the first round. Isn't that so? Their talent is low. How can their talent and cultivation be high like that? I think any one of the senior brother-S can take their little lives. Servant disciples should have the awareness to become service disciples. A sparrow trying to turn into a phoenix just by flying onto a branch? A toad wants to eat a swan. Ha ha ha. Many people in the crowd started to mock him. Even if Long Fei had Mu Xingyun's recommendation and their relationship with the 7 strongmen of North Region, no one would think favorably of them, just because of their identities. Servant disciple. The reason why he was a service disciple was because of his talent. A low-level talent was not something that could be used for cultivation. How could such a person pass the examination? Long Fei said indifferently. Do you hear the mocking laughter from your surroundings? Mu Yun said, yes. Long Fei said, are you angry? Mu Yun replied, I don't care, but since they said boss, I was displeased. Long Fei said, do you want to slap their faces? Mu Yun asked, how do I fight? Long Fei said, no need to be courteous on the stage. We will directly attack. Mu Yun replied, understood. Ridicule? Wait till your face swells up. A fierce slap. Not long after, Mu Yao and the group walked out from the other side. Instantly, everyone's gaze was drawn over. Senior sister Mu Yao. Senior brother Mu Ling. Senior brother Mu Feng. Wow, they're the strongest disciples in the Eastern region. They will definitely be among the top few who enter the South area this year. Just like celebrity contestants, their appearance caused a huge commotion. All kinds of praises and praises could be heard, and one would be tempted to lick their shoes for them. Seeing Long Fei and Mu Ling laughed coldly and said, Mu Fei, the two of you really dare to come. Mu Feng glanced at Long Fei and her, then said while looking at Mu Yao, the two of them are mere service disciples that displease you? Mu Ling said, Senior brother Feng, that's them. His name is Mu Fei. Mu Ling pointed at Long Fei with a sneer on her face and said, the illegitimate child of the young master of Mu clan, a useless trash. Don't even think about it in this life. Long Fei's eyes tensed up. Although he wasn't an illegitimate child, he was still very unhappy when he heard these words. However, it seemed that Mu Ling had investigated him. Mu Yun clenched his fists, took a step forward, and was about to attack. Mu Ling then pointed at him and said, this guy is called Mu Yun and is a trash of the who can only fight in the side branch. All right, he likes junior sister Mu Yao. He had always wanted to let him see. He had no idea he was a toad. Ha ha. The moment he said that, the surrounding crowd burst into laughter. Mu Yun could not hold it in. His body was already releasing that kind of berserk beast aura, but it was held back by Long Fei. No rush, no rush. Mu Yun said, boss, I'm going to cripple him. Long Fei said, only by being crippled on the stage will it feel good. Face smacking naturally had to have a stage. Mu Feng looked at the two of them and said, the two of you should obediently accept your deaths on the stage later. Humph. He was extremely pleased with himself. They walked up. Mu Yao walked to Long Fei's side and said coldly, on account of the time where you helped me clear my doubts, you can still survive if you withdraw from the examination. If you enter the arena, you will die. His eyes were filled with contempt. He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. She was currently a holy moon state, not the god state from 1 month ago. Right now, Long Fei was not her match at all. Of course, this was what she thought. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up and said, it's the same as last time. If you lose, sleep with my brother for a night. Last time might have been a joke, but this time Long Fei was very serious. Last time might have been a joke, but this time Long Fei was very serious. Moreover, he definitely would make Mu Yao accompany his brother. The reason was simple. Mu Yin was his brother. Mu Yao's eyes turned sinister, his fists clenched tightly under his sleeves. He wanted to become angry, but he held it back in the end. I will not get angry at a service disciple. You guys do not exist in my world. Since all of you are courting death, it is up to you. Finished. Mu Yao walked over coldly. Long Fei said, "How was the bet just now? If you lose, sleep with my brother for a night. Also, by the way, I'll remind you that the world you see is nothing but a fart in my eyes." When Mu Yao heard this, she was a little angry, but she did not stop and did not argue further with Long Fei. Just as she had said just now, there was simply no existence like Long Fei in her world. Mu Ling glanced at Long Fei and sneered. "Junior sister Mu, Yao has given you a chance. Don't you know to cherish it? Then prepare to moan on the stage later." Humph! Mu Ling's eyes were filled with disdain as well. Of course, when he was speaking, Long Fei didn't even spare him a glance. Not long later, an elder stepped onto the stage and said, "Today is the big day of our eastern region, because today, God's general will choose his disciples to enter South area. You are all the elites of the Eastern District and are all recommended by the elders. Today, I will use all of your strength, because today's competition will determine the fate of all of you. Everyone, you can do it." As soon as he finished speaking, Mu Feng took a step forward and said, "Elder, punches and kicks have no eyes. What if we accidentally kill someone? After all, some of us are only here to make up the numbers. People like us don't have any strength. So what if we don't control our strength well and just kill them? You don't have to be responsible, do you?" As long as one was not a fool, one would be able to tell that Mu Feng's words were aimed at Long Fei and Mu Yun. Without waiting for the elder to speak, Long Fei stepped forward and laughed. "Senior brother seems to be talking to us two brothers." Mu Feng was also very direct, as he said, "That's right. I'm talking to you two pieces of trash." Long Fei said, "Since you said that to us, then I can state my stance now. If you kill me on the stage later, you do not have to take any responsibility. Death is my right and deserved. However, on the other hand, senior brother you?" Mu Feng sneered and said, "Do you think you can still defeat me? Only trash with low-rank talent like you? Don't you think you're dreaming? Ha ha! Ha ha!" Many people in the crowd burst out in laughter. Who was Mu Feng? He could be said to have made full use of the strongest disciple of the Eastern District in this exam. No one could stop him. He had been cultivating in the South area for a long time already, and had received pointers from the South area elder. His current cultivation was also the highest in the entire Eastern region, reaching the 4th grade of Holy Moon State. The strongest disciple. It was easy to enter the South area. The disciples of the Eastern District were not his match at all. How could a mere service disciple like Long Fei be a match for him? It was simply laughable. Long Fei said, "Please answer me directly, senior brother. If I beat you to death, what should I do? Should I take responsibility?" Mu Feng said in a loud voice, "If I was beaten to death by you, then I deserve it. But do you think it's possible?" Long Fei said, "Whether it is possible or not, we will know after we enter the stage." And then, Long Fei did not stop there, but asked, "Elder, what about the other senior brother S that senior brother Mu Feng expressed? My strength as a service disciple is not that bad. If I accidentally injured them and crippled them, I should not be held responsible, right? What a joke. With just you?" Mu Ling was the first to jump out. Many disciples immediately followed and said, "Brat, you're so arrogant. Why is a service disciple so arrogant? If we lose to you guys, we deserve it. In the arena, I'll be the first to take your dog life." Many of the candidates were filled with righteous indignation, just like their mothers. The elder gently coughed as he said, "Mu Fei, you heard what they said. Don't worry, you won't be held responsible. You have to protect yourself." He reminded her in good faith. After all, Long Fei's identity was a little special. Mu Xingyun and 7 strongmen of North region were speaking up for him. So he, a single elder from the Eastern region, did not dare to be negligent. "All right, any other questions?" If there's none, then we'll begin. The elder said a few words. Long Fei stood out again and said, Clan Elder, are my brothers the same as me? The elder impatiently said, All right. Any more questions? Long Fei shook his head. Not anymore. The elder continued, Your names have been entered into the list. When the next list of contestants appears, the winner will enter the next round. The loser will be eliminated. Have some rest. We'll start the arena exam immediately. The East District assessment was not that complicated. There was only one round of competition. This was because every disciple was carefully selected by the elders and recommended by the elites of the Eastern District. The arena competition was an assessment. A few registration elders poured the names of each disciple onto a piece of black stone. At this moment, many people were discussing, if only those two useless brats could be my opponents, then I will definitely send them to the next round. Haha, I want to go up against those two too. The two of them are just sending off babies. Two service disciples with low talent. Do they know what training is? There are no service disciples who have passed the examination. That's right. God bless me. Let me meet one of them, Ba. In their eyes, Long Fei and Mu Yun were two soft persimmons. Anyone could pinch them. Anyone could crush them under their feet. Servant disciples had low aptitude. The arena exam was a gift. It was not only them. Mu Ling was also secretly praying to meet either Long Fei or Mu Yun, as this would allow her to show off a little in front of Mu Yao. Mu Ling was a spirit grass master, but his martial arts cultivation was not weak either. He was confident that he could defeat Long Fei easily. Looking at Long Fei, who was in the middle of the crowd, Mu Ling secretly said, Brat, as long as I meet you, I will definitely teach you a lesson. I lost to you the last time. I will take it back in the arena. 5 minutes later, the elder said, All right, the list of contestants is out. As soon as he finished speaking, the first match list appeared on the gigantic black stone screen. Everyone turned to look at that direction. Mu Ling's pupils constricted as she laughed excitedly. Ha. Mu Fei, you useless trash, quickly come and die. Mu Ling couldn't wait any longer. Mu Ling couldn't wait any longer. The feeling of having his wish come true was too refreshing. Everyone turned to look at Mu Ling. Many people were envious. Mu Ling's senior brother sure is lucky. Although Mu Ling's senior brother is a spirit grass master, his strength can crush 10 streets of that service disciple. My luck is really good. How come I don't have that kind of luck? Why is that? Without waiting for the elder's declaration, Mu Ling gently leaped up and landed on the stage. Her finger moved as she pointed at Long Fei and said with an excited smile on her face, Come, quickly come up. Mu Yin said, Boss, let me go. I want to kill him. Mu Yin looked at Mu Ling's complacent expression and felt quite unhappy. Fight against Mu Feng, the person with the highest cultivation among all these people. Prepare yourself. Long Fei laughed. As for this guy, let him be proud for a few seconds. He's about to cry, no? He should be crippled by now. The elder announced, for the first match, Mu Fei versus Mu Ling. Disciples, please enter the arena. Mu Ling couldn't wait any longer and said, Little servant, hurry up. You'll kneel down and call me father the moment you find me. Unrivaled smug. That complacent face of his really deserved a beating. Long Fei leisurely walked up the stage. Mu Ling said smugly, Brat, either kneel down and call me grandpa, then apologize to junior sister. I'll spare your life today. Or, you'll die here today. Long Fei looked at the elder and asked, Clan Elder, may we begin? The elder said, Sure. Mu Ling said, Little servant, quickly kneel down and call for me. Before he could finish his words. Bam! A muffled sound rang out. Boom! An afterimage flew out. Tens of meters away, atop a large tree, Mu Ling's body hung from a branch, her legs weakly swaying. Blood was trickling from the corner of her mouth, and her face was incomparably pale. There was no sound at all. It should be useless. No one in the audience reacted. All they saw was the sudden loss of one person on the stage. Everyone's gaze was stunned. It wasn't until a muffled sound rang out that they finally shifted their gazes towards the direction of the big tree. Senior Brother Mu Ling. This? What just happened? This. Did you guys see it clearly? Senior Brother Mu Ling. What's wrong? What are you doing flying up a tree? Could it be that the Senior Brother Mu Ling is releasing some powerful cultivation technique? Definitely. That kid is going to suffer soon. Mu Ling had somehow flown onto a tree. No one could clearly see what had happened. They all thought that Mu Ling was going to release a powerful cultivation technique. Even some elders couldn't help but urge, Mu Ling, what are you doing? This is an examination. Hurry up and make your move. However, Mu Ling didn't react at all after a few more calls. Long Fei said faintly, Elder, can I go down? Down. Where are you going? The elder was also unable to react in time. At this moment, one of the disciples that walked in let out a startled cry and said, Say. Elder, no, it's not bad. Mu Ling, he's dead. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire audience was quiet, and everyone's gaze shifted towards Long Fei. Long Fei looked at his fist and muttered to himself, My strength control was wrong. I thought I was only crippled. I didn't expect that I would die. His eyes moved. Long Fei looked at the elder and said, Elder, I do not need to take responsibility, do I? The elder was also stunned. He didn't know that such a thing would happen. An elder also quickly walked to Mu Ling's side. After checking for a bit, he said, There's no more air. An uproar broke out. Presided elders looked at Long Fei. Long Fei waited for the answer and said, I couldn't control my strength. A mistake, but I think he said he deserved it, right? Not bad at all. Luckily, I asked him about it just now. Long Fei pretended to be afraid and thought in his heart, Last time I gave you a chance, and now you dare to jump out? You're looking to die? Why wouldn't I help you? The clan elder's expression was wooden. He did not know how to handle this situation, but seeing that Long Fei was walking down the stage, he could only give up. After all, Mu Ling just said something like that. However, he was thinking, what did Long Fei do just now? It was not only him. All the elders and disciples present were also thinking about this question. What did Long Fei do? Why did Mu Ling instantly hang from a tree? Too fast. No one could see it clearly. Long Fei walked down the stage, purposely walked to Mu Yao's side, and said indifferently, Did you see it clearly? If you don't see it clearly, then I'll slow down a bit later. With that, Long Fei smiled and left with big strides. In the instant that Long Fei spoke, Mu Yao could not move a single inch. She also did not see clearly how Long Fei made his move just now. In a month's time, she broke through the holy moon state, thinking that Long Fei was no longer his match. But now, Mu Yao's gaze tensed up, his fists clenched tightly. At this moment, although her confidence had suffered a slight blow, she still firmly believed that she could defeat Long Fei. First place, the first match is over. Mu Fei wins. The elder didn't even speak quickly. After all, someone had died. Mu Ling was also the chosen disciple of the South Area's Elder Pill principal, and she died just like that. He must be responsible. And then, the elder said, Fists and feet have no eyes. Not bad, but we are all disciples of the same sect, Senior Brother S. He was worried about dying again. He had thought that the arrogant disciples were just playing around, but now it seemed that no one was playing around with him. Next match, Mu Sui versus Mu Li. Disciples, please step forward. The competition continued. It was just that many of them were still thinking about the test Long Fei had taken on Mu Ling too fast. They wanted to know what had happened. In the next round, Mu Yao against Mu Yueran. Disciples, please come on stage. After saying the name Mu Yao, the surroundings immediately quieted down. Mu Yao's figure moved, and with a light leap, she landed on the stage like a dragonfly touching the water, receiving a round of applause. Senior Sister Mu Yao is too beautiful. Senior Sister, I love you. Mu Yao, do your best. Mu Yao stood on stage, looked at his opponent, cupped his hands, and said, Senior Brother, please. Mu Yueron's sword moved, and he said, "Junior sister, look at this." As soon as he finished speaking, Mu Yao's figure also suddenly changed, the power in his body gushed out, and he shouted, "Eight tyrant fist!" Rumble! A muffled sound rang out. A punch was directed at Mu Yueron's chest. Bam! Mu Yueron was directly sent flying. There were 8 consecutive explosions as he spat out a large mouthful of blood. He landed on the ground with great difficulty and got up as he said, "I lost." Mu Yao slightly bowed and said, "Thank you, senior brother." It was also a move. Fast, ruthless, and fierce. Mu Yao wins. In the next match, Mu Yun will battle Mu Feng. Disciples, please come on stage. The elder called out the names of the two. The two of them walked onto the stage. At this time, Long Fei stood behind Mu Yao and said with an indifferent tone, "Take a serious look. He will let you know what the real 8-explosion fist is." Long Fei stood behind Mu Yao and looked at him. Long Fei stood behind Mu Yao and looked at him. Mu Yao was slightly shocked. She didn't know when, but Long Fei was standing behind her. However, when she heard Long Fei speak, a trace of disdain flowed out from the corner of her mouth as she coldly asked, "Would a service disciple be a match for senior brother Mu Feng?" He directly used the word service disciple to describe Mu Yun. Evidently, Mu Yao did not even remember Mu Yun's name in his heart and did not even have the qualifications for her to call his name out. She was arrogant. At least in the Eastern District, she was like a swan. Long Fei said, "Haha, the 8-explosion fist that you had just displayed could only be counted as 7.5 punches. The remaining amount of force has yet to come out. Do you think you've succeeded? Unfortunately, you haven't. You think your innate talent isn't bad, but if you enter the South area, you will only be a normal disciple. Where can you go? What kind of realm can you enter? Limitless? Or was it Howren? Or forever stay in the Holy Moon state? You think you have a lot of capital, but in my eyes, your most valuable thing is your face. In my world, you are at most a vase. If it wasn't for my brother liking you, you wouldn't even be qualified to be a vase." Long Fei said leisurely. Mu Yao's eyes were filled with anger, and she said, "What exactly do you want to say?" Long Fei said, "I want you to see the reality clearly." "Reality?" Mu Yao's words were ice cold as he asked, "What is the reality?" "The reality is that I listen to your orders. The reality is that you want me to be with a service disciple." "Is this reality?" "No, this is not a reality. The reality is that a service disciple like him is about to die. The reality is that the reason I have trained day and night for these 3 years is to enter South area. Don't talk to me about reality." She knew exactly what she wanted. What she wanted was to have a continuous breakthrough and obtain even more powerful strength. She wanted to enter the South area, the Western region, and finally the Northern region. As for love, she had never thought of it. She never looked down. She only looked up. Long Fei's mouth hooked up and said, "Seems like you still don't understand what I mean. Calm down. We'll see after you finish watching this match. Senior brother Mu Feng, cripple this service disciple. Senior brother Mu Feng, kill him. I heard that his cultivation has already reached the 4th level of the Divine Moon Realm. Not to mention the Eastern region. Even among the people of the same age and South area, there are very few who can match him." "That's right. I really don't know who that service disciple was who gave him the courage to go up on stage. Isn't that just courting death? He is the toad that likes senior sister Mu Yao, the toad." In the eyes of the disciples, as well as the elders, there was no suspense in this competition, because the difference was too great. Mu Feng was a disciple that had entered the South area 100%, and Mu Yin, he was just a lowly servant. Mu Yao said coldly, "Look, everyone is laughing at him. Everyone thinks that he will lose. His opponent is senior brother Mu Feng. On what basis does he deserve to win? What basis does he have to win? Humans need to know their own limitations. What kind of person are they? Then what kind of thing should they do?" His words were filled with ridicule. Long Fei laughed and said, "You're right. People need to know their own limits." And then Long Fei shouted towards the stage. Mu Yun. Mu Yun looked at him. Long Fei raised a finger. The corner of Mu Yun's mouth curled up as he excitedly smiled, revealing his pure white teeth. He understood what Long Fei meant. Mu Yao did not understand. What do you mean? Long Fei said, you'll know soon. In the arena. The corner of Mu Feng's mouth curved into a disdainful sneer as he said, is a trash servant worthy to be standing on the same stage as me? Sure, I'll send you to hell today. It'll be that trash Mu Fei later. Before he could finish his sentence, Mu Feng had already moved. An uproar. His figure moved like the wind. His fist moved. The thick power of the divine moon surged out, striking Mu Yun in the head with his fist. It was very cruel. With this punch, his head would definitely be smashed to smithereens. Mu Yun stood in place without moving, as if he did not react at all. Like a fool. No reaction at all. How will his cultivation react? He must have died a horrible death. Haha. Mu Yao could not help but say indifferently, this is the 8-tyrant fist that you wanted me to see? I think it's a fixed fist where you don't move and get beaten up. Long Fei did not speak, because he was very clear about Mu Yun's strength. His cultivation level was not as high as Mu Feng's. If Mu Feng didn't fight in close quarters, then he might have a chance of winning. But now he was even closer. Then he had no chance at all. When the fist was still half a centimeter away from Mu Yun's head, Mu Yun moved. Both fists moved at the same time. His body emitted the aura of a wild beast. A series of bursting joints. With a sinking punch, the two fists struck each other forcefully in the middle. Bam! Rumble! 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 A series of explosions occurred. Mu Feng's body came to a halt. His entire body froze in front of Mu Yun. His fist was still far from Mu Yun's office, and then slowly dropped down. And then, on his left and right temples, were Mu Yun's two fists. Two bulges protruded. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper. Time seemed to come to a standstill as the entire plaza turned deathly silent. Everyone stared at the arena with their mouths wide open. Everyone was dumbfounded. What made them even more foolish was Mu Feng's body suddenly trembled. Bang, bang, bang. 8 loud bangs exploded in 8 places, causing the silent, open ground to be just like a thunderclap. It was extremely ear-piercing. Every time it exploded, Mu Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. A disciple who had practiced the 8-explosion fist cried out in fear. Is this the 8-explosion fist? 8-tyrant fist. Isn't the sound too intense? I have never seen such an 8-tyrant fist. At that moment of shock, another 8 explosions sounded. The 8 spots on Mu Feng's body exploded once again. Bang, bang, bang. This shocked even more people. They were all scared silly. Even the elders were stunned. An elder said in astonishment, 8 storms, 8 more. Is this the 16 tyrant fists? This. Terrifying. The other elder stood up and looked at Mu Feng, who was on the verge of collapsing, and said, this is impossible, absolutely impossible. A final explosive sound rang out as Mu Feng's body shot backwards. He lost his breath. Dead. One punch was enough to kill him. One punch was enough to kill him. Everyone was dumbfounded. Long Fei took a step forward, stood by Mu Yao's side, looked at the stage indifferently, and said, did you see it clearly? Who's thinking too highly of themselves? Now do you know what I mean by reality? His words were like a slap to the face. No, to Mu Yao, every word that he said was like a slap that ruthlessly slapped her face. Both her left and right cheeks were burning hot. She could not speak a word. The instant Mu Yun punched out, she knew that it was the beginning of the 8-explosion fist. At that time, she had thought that at that distance, if she punched at that speed, she wouldn't have much strength. However, she was wrong, ridiculously wrong. Not only was the power shockingly great, it was also, when the real power of the 8-explosion fist was unleashed, every single one of the 8 violent winds was extremely violent. Every attack was seriously injured. A violent strength was stronger than a violent strength. Mu Feng had died. If he hadn't died, the heaviest injury on his body wouldn't have been his internal organs, but it would have been the last bit of his consciousness. Most likely, his sea of consciousness had already collapsed. Mu Yun had displayed the power of the 8-explosion fist in one move. If that was the case, Mu Yao could still consider it from his guidance. At most, she was only a little envious of him, but that didn't affect her swan attitude. However, Mu Yao struck out with both fists, each fist striking out with the 8-explosion fist, resulting in 16 explosions. I've never seen it before. An unheard-of existence. It was beyond her comprehension. Too strong. Mu Yao's heart was completely shaken. She didn't know how to describe her current mood, as if it was a pleasant surprise that had just discovered a new continent, but also as if she had been fiercely humiliated. Mu Yao was a little taken aback. He turned around to look at Long Fei and asked, "How did he do it?" Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "Do you want to learn it?" Mu Yao looked at Long Fei's hoodlum face. If it was before, she would not have bothered to take another look, but now, "Can you teach me?" Long Fei said, "What do you think?" Mu Yao pursed his lips and did not say a word. Long Fei turned around and left, saying indifferently, "If you want to learn, then go find the people you know." Mu Yao watched as Mu Yun walked down the stage. Her heart was in torment. It was very hard. Because of Mu Yun's transformation, a service disciple overturned the strongest disciple in the eastern region, and everyone was staring at him. He didn't dare to mock them again. Those who had just mocked him all lowered their heads. Monster! Several elders stepped forward to check on Mu Feng's injuries. One of the elders frowned and shouted, "You dare to kill someone? Little bastard, I want your life." The clan elder bellowed angrily as he leapt up from the stage and flew into the air, straight towards the back of Mu Yun's head. He was Mu Feng's master. Mu Feng was the disciple he was most proud of. He had poured too much effort and resources into Mu Feng, so he still wanted to rely on Mu Feng to build a relationship with the South Area's elders. But now, Mu Feng had actually died. How could he tolerate anger? He flew straight up into the air, ready to kill Mu Yun. Boom! A muffled sound rang out in the air. Presided elder shouted, "Fifth elder." Mu Yun did not discover the danger behind him. However, Long Fei sensed it. He suddenly stopped and turned, walked to Mu Yao's side. Locking onto the fifth elder who was in mid-air, he smiled, "I'll let you see the reality clearly again." Before he finished speaking, Long Fei's figure had already disappeared. Mu Yao only saw a blur before his eyes, and then Long Fei was gone. In the next moment, a figure appeared in midair. In an instant, boom! The aura of the everlasting realm was released, and it directly crushed the fifth elder's body. Fifth elder was only at the 7th stage of the divine moon realm. When facing the pressure of the limitless realm, she instantly stopped, and her whole body fell down from the sky. However, Long Fei did not let him fall down so easily. Attacking his brother? If it was outside, he would definitely kill him. This was the Mu clan, and it was his grandfather's family. Boom! One of his legs formed a whip and kicked the fifth elder's abdomen. The fifth elder heavily smashed into the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei slowly descended, retracting the aura of the limitless realm. A sneak attack? Are you even fit to be an elder? The fifth elder's face was pale white. She looked at Long Fei with frightened eyes and said, "Limitless realm. No, impossible. How could you be in the limitless realm?" As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd exploded. Infinity realm? There were actually experts of the everlasting realm in the East District. Not an elder, nor an elite disciple, but a service disciple. If these two words didn't come from an elder, no one would believe them. He's at the limitless realm? A mere service disciple like him is actually at the limitless realm? This is impossible, right? Did you not sense the aura just now? It's like I'm kneeling on the ground. That aura is too strong. What kind of world is this? Servant disciples are all in the everlasting realm? A few elders quickly walked forward. The idea on presided elders slightly moved, wanting to feel Long Fei's cultivation realm. Long Fei frowned. He stared straight at the presided elders and said indifferently, "I've just stepped into the limitless realm, Anyone who isn't convinced can come up. Presided Elder's expression changed slightly as he immediately retracted his aura and carefully said, Mu Fei, your cultivation. I was just wondering why Elder Xingyun would recommend you, and why 7 strongmen of North Region would call you eldest brother. So that's how it is. My apologies. Presided elders bowed over and over. The other elders followed. The surrounding disciples all bowed towards Long Fei. This was the world. Powerhouse was respected. No matter what your identity is, as long as you're strong enough, the entire world will make way for you. Long Fei laughed. The assessment will continue. Don't delay everyone's assessment just because of me. Presided elders immediately replied, Yes, yes, yes. He didn't dare offend Long Fei right now. Forget about the relationships behind Long Fei. Just with his current strength, he could easily take his place. Presided elders walked to the stage. The assessment will continue. The next round will be. The test continued. Long Fei walked past Mu Yao and said, Did you see the reality clearly? Oomph. With that, Long Fei left with big strides, leaving behind a trembling Mu Yao, the goddess of the East District, a high and mighty swan, already been selected by the South Area clan elder, looking down on service disciples. Now it seemed that she found herself to be like a clown in front of Long Fei, incomparably laughable. 16 violent punches, impossible to match. Now, Long Fei was even in the limitless realm. He looked up at them as if they were existences. Her heart was battered again and again. His face was swollen, and even thought that he could defeat Long Fei. But from the looks of it, it was all a joke. She clenched her fists tightly and turned to look for Long Fei. It was also at this time. Suddenly, a voice came out from Long Fei's sea of consciousness. Master, we found Mu Changfeng. He is heavily injured. Undead Ghost's voice suddenly came out. Undead Ghost's voice suddenly came out. Long Fei's gaze tightened. Where is he? Undead Ghost replied, Nameless Valley. Long Fei asked, How many? Undead Ghost, I found Mu Changfeng. Long Fei didn't think much of it and immediately said, Bring them back quickly. Nameless Valley? There were many valleys in God Living Mountain, and even Long Fei did not know where the Nameless Valley was, but Mu Changfeng was still shocked when he was heavily injured. Who did it? Undead Lord? If it was the Undead Lord, then he should have explained it clearly just now. One must know that the mission Long Fei gave them contained information on the location of the Undead Lord, but the Undead Ghost did not say anything. It was hard for Long Fei to say what the situation was right now. He could only let the Undead Ghost bring him back first. Saving him was more important. Muyan looked at the absent-minded Long Fei and asked, Boss, what's wrong? Long Fei lightly shook his head and said, I'm fine. Before he could finish his sentence, another sound transmission rang out. Master, I've discovered that Mu Yu is heavily injured. Long Fei's heart sank. Another one is seriously injured? Long Fei asked. Who injured him? Undead Ghost replied, I didn't see it. Long Fei said, Bring them back quickly. Understood. 2 people were heavily injured. They were all heavily injured, not even dead. If it was really the Undead Lord who attacked them, then they shouldn't be able to live. Long Fei had an ominous premonition in his heart. Next, multiple mental transmissions rang out. They were all heavily injured. Long Fei could no longer stay in the plaza. 7 strongmen of North Region was grandfather's direct disciple, and since he was the boss, they were his brothers. The 5 of them left the Northern Region to look for evidence, and now that they were all heavily injured, Long Fei was a little worried. Immediately, Long Fei said to Mu Yun, I'll leave the rest of the things here to you. If there's something urgent, I'll leave first. There was no explanation. Long Fei quickly left the plaza. Why did he leave? The first round of the assessment has just ended. Is he giving up? I don't understand him. Is there anything more important than the assessment? Several elders began whispering to each other. However, there were no elders stopping Long Fei, because he didn't dare. Long Fei was related to both the Western region and the Northern region. Furthermore, his cultivation had already reached the infinite realm. Have we arrived? How much longer? Hurry, hurry, hurry. Long Fei quickly left the east side and entered the mountain forest. Mu Changfeng didn't want too many people to notice them because their identities were special. After all, they were Mu Tianhe's direct disciples. Long Fei chose a spot at the center according to the direction they gave him. Long Fei hurried over. The 5 undead ghosts also quickly rushed to that place. Out of a total of 6 undead ghosts, only one had yet to receive any news. Right now, with 5 people heavily injured, and with the other undead ghost Long Fei not being able to call him back, he did not think of all these. Right now, he only wanted to quickly see Mu Changfeng and the others. Mu Clan, North District. Mu Hatai's courtyard. Mu Yuding bowed and reported, "Clan leader, all 5 of them have been dealt with. According to what you said, they have crippled their cultivation and destroyed their pubes." The corner of Mu Hatai's mouth slightly curled, his eyes narrowed, and revealed a slight smile, as he said, "Very good. Direct disciple? The future leader of the Mu clan? Ha! Are those brats trying to climb on top of me? Are they worthy?" Mu Hatai laughed. "I am the clan leader. I am the one in charge of the Mu clan. I am the leader of the Mu clan. Right now, and in the future as well." Rights. It was something that could make a person lose their mind. Right now, Mu Hatai was completely silent. He had to get rid of anyone that threatened him, because he was worried that one day he would be kicked out. Mu Hatai asked, "Where are they now?" Mu Yuding said, "Inside the mountain. They will not die for a while. With their physique, they should be able to climb back to Mu clan." Ha ha! Mu Hatai's image of Mu Changfeng and the others crawling back to the Mu clan appeared in Mu Hatai's mind. "Big bro, your direct disciple crawling back to the Mu clan? Huh? It must be very interesting." Right now, Mu Tianhe was in seclusion, and the 7 of them were his representatives. Mu Changfeng and the rest of the 7 had extremely high reputations in the entire Mu clan, and everyone knew who their future successors would be. If he was crippled, if he climbed back up from the mountain, what kind of blow would this be to them? It was a devastating blow to Mu Tianhe. A person who had been personally groomed to become a disciple would be reduced to trash. This was also the reason why Mu Hatai did not kill Mu Changfeng. He wanted to use them to cause Mu Tianhe's prestige to suffer a crushing defeat, and turn his position of acting patriarch into that of a genuine patriarch, the person who held the highest authority in the Mu clan. Now, Mu Changfeng and the others were already severely injured. As long as they could wait for them to crawl back to the Mu clan. Mu Yuding said, "Clan leader, there are still 2 people." Mu Hatai asked, "Do you know where they are?" Mu Yuding nodded, and every single movement of theirs is within my grasp. I suspect that the Mu Ro and young Master Mu went to the hanging cliff where the old patriarch was cultivating in seclusion. Mu Hatai's eyes tensed up. Hanging cliff? They really know how to choose a place. Since you have grasped their whereabouts, let's handle it together. Just like Mu Changfeng and the other 3, we shall cripple their cultivation and destroy the pubes S. Mu Hatai said coldly. Mu Yuding said, "I'll arrange it." He turned around and left the courtyard. Mu Hatai looked up at the sky and revealed a smile at the corner of his mouth and said indifferently, "I only need a chance, and now the chance has come. Big brother, don't blame me for being heartless as your little brother, but back then, it wasn't because of the huge mistake you made to protect your daughter. I also didn't want to change the Mu clan, and only I can make it rise again, and only I can change the Mu clan." Ha ha! He began to laugh maniacally. Mu Hatai was very pleased with himself. This time, he would definitely seize this opportunity. They would definitely beat Mu Tianhe to a pulp. Have we arrived? Hurry up. Have we arrived? Long Fei was very anxious. He had arrived first. Rumble. Suddenly, a cold wind attacked. Long Fei's order was to use the fastest speed possible. He did not waste even a second on the road, and rushed here as fast as he could. Seeing the undead ghost, Long Fei immediately asked, "How is he?" Reporting to Master, "I'm still breathing." Undead ghost put Mu Changfeng down. Long Fei took a look around, and when he felt the pubes, his expression tightened. The pubes. The pubes. It broke. He didn't know whether to check or not, but once he checked, Long Fei was even stunned. He didn't know whether to check or not, but once he checked, Long Fei was even stunned. No one knew what the pubes' destruction meant better than him. He would never forget this feeling for the rest of his life. If he didn't have the game system, his bones would have rotted. Who did it? Long Fei clenched both his fists tightly. The aura around his body suddenly underwent a drastic change. The anger and killing intent in his body instantly burst forth, and the surrounding temperature quickly dropped as well. Even undead ghost of the Howran realm retreated slightly and said, "Master, when I discovered him, he was already like this. I didn't see anyone else." Long Quang said, "Not only is it the pubes, his cultivation has also been crippled. 2 moves, they were all attacking at close range, crippled their cultivation before shattering the pubes. Judging from the situation, they should be people that know each other, and they should be the kind that is very familiar with it." In the blink of an eye, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a cold glint. "You mean the people from Mu Clan did it?" Long Quang Dao. "It shouldn't be wrong. If it's an outsider, then I'm afraid that he's already dead. There's no need to spare his life." Long Fei asked, "Then why don't the people from the Mu Clan kill him? Let him live." Long Quang Dao. "I don't know about that, but I'm sure there are other arrangements." Long Fei looked at the pale Mu Changfeng. Clenching his teeth, he asked, "Is there a way?" Long Quang Dao. "Saving his life in this kind of situation isn't too difficult. It's just that his cultivation is." Pubes was the source of energy, the place where holy source was absorbed. Once the pubes was broken, the sky and earth holy source could not be gathered. This way, even if he survived, he would not be able to cultivate and would only be a piece of trash. Long Fei said, "Didn't you say last time that you would establish it after you broke it? Can we do it now?" Long Quang shook his head. "The pubes' destruction is the key. His pubes' injuries are too severe. The person who attacked never thought of giving him a chance to recover." Long Fei's heart sank. If even Long Quang said there was no other way, then the chances were slim. Looking at Mu Changfeng, Long Fei felt very uncomfortable in his heart. It was because he told Mu Changfeng to report to the upper levels of the Mu clan that he was going to the God-living mountain to look for evidence. Something's happened now. Long Fei had a responsibility that he could not shirk. Then again, they were the direct disciples of his grandfather, and because of his relationship, the 5 of them had turned into cripples. How could he face his grandfather? Long Fei felt very bad in his heart, seeing Mu Changfeng clenching his fists tightly again. What should I do? There must be a way. There must be a way. Long Fei thought back to when he had saved them from the mountains, and how they were also in dire straits at that time. It's worse than last time. Long Quang Dao. If his pubes can recover to 50% of its original strength, I have a way to let them cultivate devil arts and recover their cultivation. It's just that his pubes, I can't think of anything. The pubes' recovery is too difficult. Ordinary people would have already died from such a heavy injury. It's probably a miracle that he was able to survive until now. Long Quang sighed again and again. Long Fei kept thinking away in his head. It could be said that he was racking his brains. Last time was fine, but this time is fine too. I'll definitely think of a way. Quick, 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 think of a way. Long Fei kept urging himself. The faster they thought of a way, the more useful it would be for them. However, Long Fei's mind went blank. With his current state of mind, it was impossible for him to think of a solution. Moreover, at this time, another undead ghost descended. On his back was Mu Yu, like Mu Changfeng, whose cultivation was crippled and whose pubes were smashed into pieces. It was a close-range attack. He attacked without any defense. Not long later, the other 3 arrived as well. The 5 of them lay on the floor, pale and unconscious. Long Fei was so anxious that she seemed to go crazy. Looking at the 5 of them, he instantly thought of Mu Rou and young Master Mu. His heart tightened as he thought, "This is bad. If it was the Mu clan's men who did it, then they..." Holy SH*T. Long Fei clenched his teeth to the point that it was about to shatter. The idea moved golden fur. In the distant mountain forest, Blondie suddenly stopped his attacks. "Boss, what's the matter?" Long Fei said. "Are you far away from me?" Without waiting for Blondie to reply, he continued, "Help me save two people. You've met them before, young Master Mu and young Master Mu." The giant golden ape didn't ask any further questions. "All right, I'll head over now." Long Fei was secretly worried. I hope it's too late. If he could save one, then so be it. After sending Golden Fur over, Long Fei looked at Mu Changfeng and the other three who were lying on the ground. He sat on the ground and said, "There will definitely be a way." And then Long Fei sat cross-legged, lightly exhaled, and closed his eyes. Since he was able to think of a pill formula at that time, he will definitely be able to think of a method to save her now. Long Fei did not give up. No matter if it was Long Baishan's dragon scale power that was effective or his assembled heart that had changed his innate talent that was effective, he had to think of a way to deal with it. He couldn't just sit by and watch his brother become a cripple. After calming his heart, his brain emptied and started operating rapidly. Let him think. Long Fei definitely could not think of something like this. He had to let his brain think on its own. Only then would he be able to think of an answer. 2 hours passed. No result. Another 2 hours passed, yet there was still no result. An entire day passed, but Long Fei still could not come up with a solution. Moreover, there was also bad news. Mu Rou and young Master Mu were also heavily injured. When the golden hair brought them to Long Fei's side, they were all at their last gasp. Did Mu Rou see Long Fei? She then saw Mu Changfeng and the rest, and said, "Be boss, yes, it's someone from the northern region of Mu clan. I saw his identity jade tablet. Only the elders of the Judgment Pavilion have such a jade token." And without waiting for her to finish speaking, she fainted. The giant golden ape said, "Boss, I was a bit too late. By the time I arrived, they were already heavily injured and collapsed on the ground." Blondie was blaming himself. The anger in Long Fei's heart rose to the top, and he said solemnly, "Judgment Pavilion. Why? Why does a family have to get into trouble? Why? Can such a clan be powerful?" Long Fei's heart was filled with hatred. Now, all 7 of them had fallen. His heart became even more furious. He wanted nothing more than a charge into the North District's Judgment Pavilion with the golden hair. However, he didn't. Compared to killing the Judgment Pavilion, what he needed to do now was to save them. After thinking for an entire day, he still wasn't able to come up with a solution. Now it was already dark. After not being able to think of a solution for such a long period of time, would he still be able to think of one if he were to continue? Long Fei no longer had any confidence in himself. But just at that moment, Long Fei suddenly felt a flash of inspiration, and an idea suddenly popped out in his mind. The sky-splitting vine has a powerful power of regeneration, and with it, Long Fei thought of the Tong Tian vine. Long Fei thought of the Tong Tian vine. He thought about what the flower fairy had told him about the power of the Tong Tian vine. A powerful power of regeneration. If he used the power of the clear sky vine, would it be able to help Mu Changfeng and the others recover their pubes? Flower fairy, right? Long Fei asked anxiously. The flower fairy said, "Master, the Tong Tian vine does have a powerful regeneration ability, but the Tong Tian vine that Mu Xingyun is raising is still a seedling. Its power is too weak. I'm afraid it cannot reach the kind of effect that you want." This was the truth. The Tong Tian vine in Mu Xingyun's palm was a seedling. The regeneration ability must be very weak. Long Fei said, "I know, but this is the only way, and it will be fine as long as their pubes reaches level 5. Since he couldn't think of any other way, he could only use the sky-piercing vine. No matter what, Long Fei had even wanted to give it a try. He couldn't just watch his own brother, as his grandfather's disciple had died right in front of him. And then, Long Fei ordered, "All of you stay here, I'll go save them. Remember, don't let anyone near." The 5 undead ghosts nodded heavily and said, "Understood." Their ability to carry out Long Fei's orders could be said to be 100%. Long Fei said, "Gold Fur, let's go." Long Fei jumped onto the golden hare's back. With a heavy leap, the golden hare quickly disappeared into the forest. Half an hour later, Long Fei arrived at the west side of Mu Clan. This place was much larger than the east region, and the environment was much better. Most importantly, the aura of the holy source was thicker. The west region was located in a deep pit filled with the dangers of heaven and earth. The holy source of heaven and earth scattered down, like light from the perilous peaks, on both sides of the west region. Many disciples were cultivating in the lotus position. When Long Fei arrived at the west region, he was immediately stopped by someone. "Junior brother, this is not a place that you should be." Long Fei said, "Senior brother, can you help me inform Elder Xingyun that I have something important to ask for?" How could an Eastern District kid like you be able to see Elder Xingyun? You, a disciple with a white jade token, actually stepping into the Western region is already against the family's rules. And you still want to meet Elder Xingyun? Get lost. If you don't get lost, I will break your legs. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei hugged both his arms and said, "Sorry." As soon as he finished, the pressure of the everlasting realm was released. He moved like a dragon, and his figure was like lightning. In just a breath's time, he had flashed past two people and entered the west gate. In the blink of an eye, Long Fei had disappeared. The two of them were stupefied. By the time they had reacted, Long Fei was already long gone. What is alchemy? Alchemy refers to the energy contained within the spirit grass that is produced by the heavens and the earth. It is activated, merged, and then condensed into a pellet. Every single spirit grass has their own special characteristics. In order to refine a high-grade medicinal pellet, one must be familiar with every single one of them. This is the most basic thing. Do you understand? In the pill courtyard, an elder was imparting knowledge to the alchemy technique. There were more than a dozen disciples in the courtyard. They were all the most outstanding disciples among the young generation of the Mu clan who possessed the talent for alchemy. He might become a great pill refiner in the future. In front of them were a few spirit grass. The elders said, "You have 7 spirit grasses in front of you that have different medicinal properties. I need you to pick 3 of them from among them to refine the most basic pellets, heal pill." Isn't this too simple? Teacher, we're not newbies who have just started cultivating in the way of alchemy. I can even refine heal pill with my eyes closed. Exactly. It's not challenging at all. Heal pill with the lowest level and also the best pellet to refine. They had refined it many times. The elder sneered. Isn't there a challenge? Very good. Then which one of you can refine a highest grade heal pill out of these spirit grass? Is there anyone who can do that? All of the disciples looked at the spirit grass on the alchemy stage. These spirit grass were all in the most ordinary of spirit grasses, and refining the highest quality pellet was practically impossible. Elder, these spirit grass are all first grade, second grade, low grade spirit grass. How can they refine highest grade heal pill? Yeah, that's impossible. No matter what combination it is, it won't do. No one tried. At this moment, Long Fei found the Pill Academy and immediately rushed in. Everyone turned to look at Long Fei. Silence reigned in the courtyard. Long Fei said, I am looking for Elder Xingyun." One of the sharp-eyed disciples looked at the jade tablet on Long Fei's waist and asked, "When did the disciples of the West region have white jade plates?" "Kid, who are you? Looking for the great clan elder? Who are you? White jade plates can only be found in the East region. Moreover, it's a service disciple." "Kid, are you a service disciple of the East region? This is not a place where you can come. Hurry up and leave." The elder shouted back, "Kid, hurry up and leave." Long Fei looked at the spirit grass on their alchemy stage and walked forward, saying, "I heard the two of you conversing while I was outside. 3 spirit grass refining a highest grade heal pill, right? If I can refine it, can you take me to see Elder Xingyun?" The crowd was taken aback for a moment before they burst into laughter. "Ha ha, ha ha, with just you. Brat, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself?" Do you really think that a mere service disciple like you can obtain alchemy? Aren't you taking yourself too seriously? No one thought highly of Long Fei. Because of Long Fei's identity, Long Fei did not pay attention to the ridicule from the surroundings. Instead, he walked in front of the alchemy stage, swept his eyes across the area, and took a look at the 7 spirit grasses. All these spirit grass could be used to refine heal pill. It was just that, to refine a highest grade heal pill. That was no ordinary feat. Elemental flower, neutral, partial fire. Ocean money grass. All of the attributes of spirit grass appeared in Long Fei's system. And then, Long Fei's eyes darkened. Found it. His right hand moved, picking up a stalk of spirit grass. The holy source gushed out and directly became a flame that burned. At the same time, Long Fei's hand speed was extremely fast. He placed the other 2 spirit grass into the flames, and spirit liquid gushed out and quickly condensed. Half a minute, a pill was born. Long Fei's forehead revealed hot sweat. He looked at the elder and said, "Elder, the highest grade heal pill has been successfully refined. Can you take me to see Elder Xingyan?" The entire courtyard was in complete silence. They all looked at Long Fei without moving. He was stupefied. "Are you a demon?" A single pill was completed in one go. Even pill furnaces were useless. If this wasn't a devil, then what was it? All of them looked at Long Fei with their eyes wide open. The elders dumbly walked to Long Fei's side and took the pills in their hands to carefully examine them. Immediately, the expression in his eyes changed. Several disciples asked, "Elder, are these top-grade pills?" "Teacher, what rank pill is it?" "I don't believe that he will be able to concoct any top-grade pills." "This is impossible. The materials are—" Without waiting for them to finish speaking, the clan elder suddenly grabbed on a Long Fei's hand and asked excitedly, "Little brother, can you accept me as your disciple?" "Take me as your disciple. Take me as your disciple. How is it? I beg of you." The clan elder would not let go of Long Fei's hand. As long as Long Fei nodded, he would immediately kneel on the ground and kowtow to Long Fei as his disciple. The surrounding disciples looked at Long Fei with stupefied expressions, their brains completely unable to react. Long Fei said, "Let's talk about the matter of becoming your disciple later. Can you bring me to see Elder Xingyan?" The elder said without hesitation, "All right, all right, all right, I will bring you to see him immediately. However, you have to keep your word." Long Fei didn't know how to answer and mumbled in his heart, "Mu Xingyun is a madman, and this madman is also a madman. You guys train by yourselves." The elder explained as he pulled Long Fei and walked inside. The disciples looked at each other, dumbfounded. "Grand Elder, someone wishes to meet you." The elder walked to the deepest part of the academy, which was also the most dilapidated courtyard. There is only one reason for why this place was so dilapidated. An explosion like this. Mu Xingyun came out of the broken house, his face full of filth, and his hair looked as if it had not been washed in a few years, as he shouted, "Who is it? I'm researching on new pills." When he saw Long Fei, his eyes flashed with a bright light. He immediately rushed in front of Long Fei, grabbed his hand, and said, "Kid, you've come at just the right time. Come, come, come. Hurry up and give us some pointers." As he said that, he dragged Long Fei into the pill room. The elder who brought Long Fei in was confused. Even the great clan elder requested for him to be taught. "Then I'll be taking him in as my master." Within the pill room, it was charred black as if it had been smoked. Mu Xingyun said anxiously, "Brat, how did you refine the pill that can save a person's mind and chi si last time? Are these spirit grass as materials for refining?" Long Fei took a glance, and his heart trembled. The spirit grass in front of him were more or less the same, except that they were missing 2 spirit grass with similar attributes. Mu Xingyun was truly worthy of being the great elder of the West Region Academy. Long Fei said, "Clan elder, I need the clear sky vine." "Huh?" Mu Xingyun was startled for a moment and said, "What are you going to do with the sky gourd? It's still just a seedling. I've already checked its medicinal properties, so there's no use." He was a madman. using his own body to nurture a spirit grass. To him, it was mainly to get more materials. He had tested the Tong Tian vine several times, but to no avail. He even doubted the words Long Fei had said before. At this time, Long Fei could no longer lie to him, and said honestly, "The heavenly vines have a powerful regeneration ability. I need to use it to save people." Regeneration ability? Damn, power of regeneration? Kid, are you sure? Are you kidding me? This old man has never heard of a spirit grass with the ability to regenerate medicinal pellets in his life. Mu Xingyun was extremely shocked. After all, he had never heard of this medicinal property before. Power of regeneration. If this power was developed and extended, how terrifying would it be? Long Fei said, "I did not lie to you, otherwise I would not have come looking for you. Elder, can you give me some?" Mu Xingyun looked at Long Fei, and it was obvious that Long Fei was very anxious. "Who are you trying to save?" Long Fei shook his head. "I cannot say. This may affect what happens later, but I can guarantee that I am saving Mu clan's people." Long Fei trusted Mu Xingyun. However, for the sake of safety, he had to be careful. Mu Xingyun said, "All right, I can give you the Tong Tian vine, but you have to promise me one condition." Long Fei said without hesitation, "Please speak." Mu Xingyun said, "You taught me to refine pills the kind that will restore my qi si. You don't need to teach me now. I can teach you in the future." Long Fei said, "All right, I agree." Mu Xingyun grinned and said, "Stretch out your palm and cut open a hole." Long Fei did as he was told. And then, Mu Xingyun's palm moved, and the heavenly vine slowly extended out from his palm. The two sprout like leaves had not changed at all compared to a month ago. "Get ready. Focus." As he spoke, Mu Xingyun's palm moved and directly stuck on a Long Fei's palm. On his palm, fresh blood dripped down onto the tender bud of the sky-piercing vine. In that instant, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the heavenly vine. Elder, I just want a little. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Mu Xingyun laughed. "Since you know about it and understand its uses, it would be best if you could be its master. I don't have anything I can take out either. Take this as a gift from me. Besides, I don't really know how to use the old bones of martial arts training. All of the holy sources I used are for alchemy, so I can't raise it at all." Mu Xingyun said while laughing. Long Fei was grateful in his heart. He was very clear that the power of regeneration and the heavenly vine were supreme divine treasures. Giving it to him like that, Long Fei was grateful, but also grateful. Long Fei said heavily, "Thank you." Mu Xingyun said, "Thank you, my ass. If you have something to do, you should hurry up and do it. After that, teach me how to refine the pill." Long Fei's eyes were a little wet. There were really not many people who treated him this well. Mu Xingyun said, "Scram quickly, don't disturb my alchemy." Long Fei walked out of the room. Mu Xingyun ordered again and said, "Ling Tong, bring him out of the west region." Elder Tong immediately said, "Yes." Stepping out of the west region, Long Fei quickly headed towards Mu Changfeng. The golden fur was flying fast. On Golden Hair's back, Long Fei moved his idea and sensed that the vine was like two small sprouts. Flower Fairy said, "Master, she is still too young. Her power is useless." "Lord, can you let her go?" the Flower Fairy pleaded. Long Fei said, "Flower Fairy, the last time you saw her, she was very excited. Now that she's on me, what did you say to her just now?" "Who is she?" Flower Fairy knew that he could not hide it from her, and said, "She is called Xiao Lu, my little sister. She is really useless now. Can you let her go? I beg of you." "Little Green, then your name is Little Flower? You are all from the botanical world?" Long Fei said, "You should be clear about my brother's current situation. Even if there is a bit of hope, I cannot give up, so." Little Green waved its tender bud as if it was afraid, but also seemed to be talking. Long Fei asked, "What is she saying?" Flower Fairy said, "What she is saying is that if you can inject a large amount of power into her, she will be able to grow rapidly. At that time, even if her power grows stronger, You just need to take a little of it. She will not die. Powerful strength. Long Fei muttered. Is my entire holy source worth it? Flower Fairy shook his head. Your holy source can only be considered normal. It can't be considered strong. F***CK. Are you looking down on me? Long Fei disdained and said, Seems like you're going to use my pubes as power. But the power of my pubes is too strong. Would she be unable to endure it? Or did he actually become a true heavenly vine? What was Tantion? What was Tantion? It went all the way up to the highest point in the sky. If the vine was at its peak, then it was at its peak. Climbing up the vine would allow him to break through the limits of the plane of ancient world, which meant that he would be able to enter the outer realms. Of course, this was at the peak of Manchu, the real mature period. Long Fei did not want to reach the heavens at the moment. He only wanted to save her. Even if he were to use all of his holy source S, it would not be enough to grow another leaf. He could only use the power of the pubes. Huff! Long Fei exhaled lightly and quickly calmed himself down. It was not easy to release the power of a pubes. It could be said to be extremely masculine. Long Fei had not grasped the opportunity yet. As long as he could not control it properly, the power he released would go berserk. With backlash, he would lose his life. I have to succeed this time, Long Fei muttered in his heart. With a move of the idea, he entered the center of the pubes. The moment the limitless realm's power was released from the idea, the Taiji realm immediately felt it and immediately released its strong power. The power that Long Fei released was like a woman who was completely naked, incomparably enchanting, and incomparably charming. On the other hand, the plane of the pubes S, the stars, were like men who had not seen a woman for tens of thousands of years. In an instant, the two forces collided. Boom! An enormous Taiji diagram appeared. It changed bit by bit. Long Fei relied on his senses and felt that it was right. He released the power of the primal chaos diagram. Rumble, rumble, rumble. An intense explosion sounded out from Long Fei's body. Long Kuang immediately said, Master, are you releasing the power of your pubes? God's Pavilion also noticed it and also said in shock, Brat, you're not living anymore. The strength in your pubes is not ordinary. You dare to release it before you have fully grasped it. Quickly withdraw it. Flower Fairy said, Master, it's too dangerous. Danger? It was far more than danger. It could be said that Long Fei was taking his life, let alone being confident. He didn't even have the slightest bit of confidence. However, he had no other choice. If he wanted to save Mu Changfeng and the others, he had to make the Heavenly Rover grow, and only the Heavenly Rover's power of regeneration could save them. Long Fei could only do his best. If he really died, Long Fei still had a life-saving skill. Lifespan +1, however, he would never use it unless he had no other choice. Long Fei did not listen to their persuasion and continued to release the power of the pubes. It will die. It will live for tens of thousands of years. Bring it on. Rumble. The idea released the power from the pubes. In that instant, Long Fei's palm moved, releasing the through heaven's vine, and said, I've released the power over you. How much you can absorb and how much you can grow will all depend on you. Ah! He bellowed. His strength was like an erupting volcano, fiercely erupting outwards. Long Fei's clothes made an explosive sound. His hair was scattered in a bun, and his hair flew up to the sky. His face was bright red. Veins popped out on his forehead. The moment he released his power from the pubes, he felt as if his entire body was going to explode. I must succeed. I don't want to waste my life +1. Walala. Under Long Fei's control, the power flowed into his palm. Whether or not it succeeds depends on how much it can absorb. If she was unable to hold on, Long Fei would definitely die. If the clear sky vine was able to hold on and absorb all the energy released by the pubes, it would mean that it was a success. Thus, the key to everything lay in the sky-piercing vine. Boom! Boom! When she felt the power gushing towards her, her body trembled. Then, an apocalyptic change started to happen to her body. It was originally just two tiny sprouts, but in the blink of an eye it had transformed into a towering tree. Walala! Walala! In just a few seconds, the vine had grown to a height of 1,000 meters. An astonishing change. It was like a catalytic injection. Long Fei saw it himself. Holy sh**t. Is it really that amazing? A few seconds ago, it was just a tiny sprout, but now it had turned into a giant, towering vine. An unspeakable freak. Moreover, the vine was still growing, and the power of the Tai Chi diagram that Long Fei released was also gradually weakening. The power output had lasted for a few seconds, but in that few seconds, Long Fei felt as if it had lasted for several centuries, because he could die at any time. However, thank goodness, he succeeded. Long Fei's body was exhausted, but he had at least survived. The Tong Tian vine also absorbed the power, becoming 1,300 meters high. Hee. I've grown taller. I've grown up. Hee. A series of cute and mischievous voices rang out. Long Fei exhaled heavily and said, "It has evolved. Now it can speak human words." Flower Fairy was also overjoyed. "Xiao Lu, why aren't you thanking Master? If not for his strength, you would have still cultivated for 103,000 years." Long Fei was secretly speechless. 103,000 years. What kind of concept was that? Isn't the power within the pubes too powerful? No wonder Undead Lord doesn't stop. Fortunately, Long Wushan did not succeed last time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been disastrous. Long Fei felt that the pubes was becoming more and more powerful. It was not weak at all. It was not a type of attribute. Every plane of his star relate to Dantian contained a powerful force. This was also the second time the energy had fused with his own power. If this was purely the power of the pubes plane, how strong would it be? Long Fei didn't dare imagine. Little Green immediately said obediently, "Thank you, Master." Long Fei said, "You are one of my men. If you follow me, of course you'll have to enjoy yourself. Furthermore, the reason why I poured such a large amount of energy into you is also for the sake of my brother." "How many levels can your regeneration reach?" Xiao Lu said, "My current cultivation is equivalent to 103,000 years, and I've broken through 100,000 years, so I can speak. As for the power of regeneration that I possessed before, I feel that it shouldn't be a problem to build an arm or half a leg or something. However, Master, this person must be a living person. A dead person's strength is not good enough for me right now." Long Fei was secretly shocked and said, "Could it be that you can revive the dead?" Little Green giggled and said, "Of course you can, but I am from the eternal realm." The sound suddenly stopped. Green closed his mouth and didn't dare to say anything else. The eternal realm? The eternal realm? Higher plane? Long Fei felt a sense of familiarity. It was just that Long Fei had no other choice but to save others. Moreover, obviously, Flower Fairy had stopped Xiao Lu from continuing. Long Fei did not pursue any further. "Can pubes recover?" Green said seriously, "It shouldn't be difficult." Long Fei said, "That's good. If you have not grown enough, I can release my power once more." Green hurriedly said, "I don't need it right now, but I can't either. I can't digest so much energy in such a short time. I need to digest it all in order to absorb the new energy." A powerful force from a few seconds ago surged into her body, causing her to reach a 0 point in that instant. If it was even a little bit more, she wouldn't be able to withstand it. Moreover, Long Fei was one of them. The next time he would be able to succeed without any mishaps, it would be the same as the last time. He had no confidence at all. He couldn't say that it was because he had found the intersection after succeeding just now, but he didn't find it. As long as there was even the tiniest bit of change in the pubes' power, it was the effect of missing 1,000 miles by a hair's breadth. Rumble! The golden-furred ape landed heavily. "Boss, we're here." Long Fei jumped down from Golden Fur's body and said, "Golden Fur, don't go out to hunt demon beasts for now. Protect me first." I can't be disturbed right now. The golden-furred ape nodded. Understood. After taking a few steps, his aura completely exploded. Buzz! Within a radius of 10 kilometers, all the wild beasts and demon beasts had fled. Not even a mosquito. Silence. Long Fei looked at the 7 of them who were lying on the ground. At this moment, there was only a tiny bit of health left over above their heads. Their lives were on the line. Huff! Long Fei took out a few special spirit grasses that he had gathered in the mountains. Little green. Little Lu said, understood. An emerald green leaf landed on the palm of Long Fei's hand. Every single leaf was at the divine level. It was a little scary. Then, Long Fei took out the spirit liquid from the special spirit grasses. This spirit liquid was able to protect the mind of people who were heavily injured. As the spirit liquid entered his body, Mu Chongfeng's body trembled slightly. Long Fei said, Zhang Feng, right now, the pubes is breaking into pieces. I want to repair your pubes. It might be very painful, but you must endure it. Mu Chongfeng's body slightly moved again, as if he was responding to Long Fei. Long Fei released the spirit liquid from the emerald green leaf. The spirit liquid was also incomparably green. This was the power of regeneration. Dripping into Mu Chongfeng's mouth, Long Fei moved and placed his palm on Mu Chongfeng's back. The holy source entered his body and controlled the power of regeneration, allowing it to enter Mu Chongfeng's pubes. Ugh! Mu Chongfeng let out a low groan of pain. His body began to tremble uncontrollably. The pubes had shattered and was being repaired. The pain was indescribable. Those who can't take it will die from the pain. Long Fei could feel his pain. Right now, he could only use the holy source as a form of protection for him and could not share his pain. Although he was unconscious, Mu Chongfeng continued to cry out in pain. His entire body was drenched in cold sweat. The process of pubes regrowing was a form of torture and could be said to be even fiercer than the trials of the 18 hells. Hold on. Long Fei could only encourage her. The pubes grew a little and grew a little. Mu Chongfeng was also walking on the edge of the life and death blade. He was doing his best, too. Suddenly, Long Quang's voice sounded. Master, his pubes is already recovered to the 4th layer. It's enough to plant a magic seed. Long Fei was slightly taken aback. You want them to become bedeviled? Long Quang Dao. Their cultivation has been crippled. Even if the pubes recovers, it will still take them another 20 years before they can cultivate again. Furthermore, after the pubes breaks, I'm afraid that they won't be able to step into the realm of ancient powers anymore. If you want them to recover, or even step into the realm of ancient powers faster, being bewitched is their only option. He was reminding Long Fei, because this is the best time to do it. Mu Chongfeng knew who crippled his cultivation and his pubes, and his heart was filled with hatred. Hatred was the most powerful force capable of bedeviling demons. As long as the magic seed was planted, it would quickly grow and expand. The stronger the hatred, the stronger the demon. Whether it is a demonic cultivator or a traditional righteous martial arts training, they are both a type of cultivation. The reason why they are called demonic is because demonic cultivators go to extremes. One's true heart cannot be devoured. Demonic cultivators, martial arts training are all the same. Long Quang explained. He knew very well. Right now, Mu Chongfeng's only choice was to become a demon and cultivate. Otherwise, pubes would just be a cripple once it recovered. Long Fei secretly locked the space between his brows and said, I am unable to make a decision on this matter. I must ask him myself. Although he was their boss, this was related to their fate, and Long Fei couldn't decide for them. Zhang Feng, your cultivation has been crippled, and even if the pubes is repaired, it would still take dozens of years to cultivate back, and your cultivations might not be too high in this life. I have a way to change that. Enter the path of the demonic path, demonic cultivator. If you agree, then just move your fingers. If you don't agree, then don't move your fingers. Although Mu Chongfeng couldn't speak, he could still hear what Long Fei was saying. Almost. Just as Long Fei finished speaking, his fingers kept moving. Long Fei said, "All right, since you have made your choice, I will begin to plant a demon seed in your mind. It will devour and absorb your hatred and will frantically grow. What you need to do is to maintain your mind and not be controlled." As soon as he finished speaking, Long Fei said to Long Quang, "You can begin." With a slight movement, a strand of power passed through Long Fei's palm and entered Mu Changfeng's body. A few seconds later, Mu Changfeng's eyes suddenly flashed with a ray of dark red light, and his pupils became dark red, as the aura around his body also underwent a drastic change. A few minutes later, Mu Changfeng seemed to not be able to feel the pain. A few more minutes. The pubes was only restored 80% of the time. Originally, he could repair all of them, but Mu Changfeng had chosen to repair 80% of them, because he wanted to remember the pain of the pubes. Pain breeds hatred. Hatred could nourish demons. Since he had entered the demonic path, he would wholeheartedly cultivate. "Wake up." Mu Changfeng knelt in front of Long Fei and said, "Boss, thank you." He didn't know how to thank Long Fei. Long Fei asked, "Who injured you?" Mu Changfeng clenched his fists tightly, his dark red eyes exuding an ice-cold, killing intent as he said, "Mu Yuding." "It's him. It's him." Long Fei was slightly shocked. He never thought that it would be Mu Yuding. At least, the first impression Mu Yuding gave Long Fei was not bad. At that time, whenever Mu Changsheng wanted to attack Mu Yun, he would attack him several times. He did not expect that Mu Yuding would actually kill Mu Changfeng and the others. "Seems like the Mu clan's water is deeper than I thought," Long Fei secretly thought. Although it was Mu Yuding who had done the deed, the one behind the scenes was definitely Mu Hatai, and only he would make a move against Mu Changfeng's group of 7, because Mu Changfeng and the others represented grandfather Mu Tianhe and were his direct disciples. Furthermore, they were his future successors in the Mu clan. Mu Hatai would definitely take action against them. While killing them, he did not forget to suppress Mu Tianhe, who was in closed-door cultivation. The humiliation of Mu Changfeng's group of 7 would definitely affect Mu Tianhe's influence. Mu Changfeng clenched his fists tightly and said, "I want revenge, I want revenge." Long Fei comforted her. "Don't worry about revenge. Calm down and think about why Mu Yuding attacked you. I'll go save the 6 of them. I wonder what they will choose." Mu Changfeng looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, are our injuries the same?" Long Fei nodded his head. "It's all because of my cultivation that was crippled, the pubes shattered." Mu Changfeng's eyes were filled with hostility, and he said, "Mu Yuding, you're too ruthless, aren't you?" The hatred in his heart grew even stronger. The magic seed moved quietly, and then Mu Changfeng said, "Boss, you don't need to ask them. They will make the same decision as me." No one would give up if they became strong. Right now, they wanted to become stronger than ever. So what if they become possessed? As long as they could take revenge and become stronger, they would be able to withstand the pain no matter how much they had to endure. Huff! Long Fei exhaled lightly as he thought in his heart, "I wonder if your grandfather will agree to your choice." "AI, whatever. I can't let you become useless people." Long Fei focused and started to save her. Another piece of leaf from a vine that stretched through the skies landed on Long Fei's palm. The emerald green leaf emitted a purple divine light, and a very strong power surged within. Long Fei followed through with the method he had set at the beginning. 2 hours later, the 6 of them woke up. Moreover, all of them were possessed, their pupils turning dark red, and the aura emanating from their bodies becoming extremely violent. In particular, their minds had undergone a huge change. "Mu Yuding, you bastard, I'll kill you today. Let's go. I must skin him today." All of them were filled with anger. Their eyes flashed with a cold red light, and their bodies were filled with a strong, murderous intent. The magic seed began to take root in their minds, frantically absorbing the hatred that burst out from them. This was the best nourishment for the magic seed. They also knew that they were possessed. He didn't have the slightest bit of resentment towards Long Fei either. Moreover, their cultivation bases were the same as before, maybe even a bit higher. Long Fei looked at their furious faces and asked, "What realm is Mu Yuding in?" Mu Changfeng replied, "Howren realm. As for whether to middle stage or high stage, I don't know." "Howren stage. Then are you 7 together as opponents?" Long Fei asked again. The 7 of them fell silent. Although the 7 of them combined had the power of an array, Mu Yuding would not give them the chance to activate it. Thus, they were no match for him. Although they were possessed, they were not crazy people who had chi deviation. All of them were stunned by Long Fei's question. Mu Changfeng shook his head. "The 7 of us combined are not Mu Yuding's match, but this enmity is—" Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei asked again, "Then do you know why Mu Yuding attacked you? He crippled your cultivation. So at least he had a reason for breaking your pubes, right? What is the motive?" Mu Changfeng's pupils constricted. He was thinking about it just now. However, he could not understand. Why would Mu Yuding, who is usually good to them, make a move on them? What was it for? Mu Changfeng really couldn't understand. Long Fei said, "Since you do not know, then what is the meaning of going to take revenge like this?" Mu Changfeng asked, "Boss, then what do you think we should do?" "Yeah, boss, we'll listen to you. You saved us twice, and our lives are yours." Long Fei looked at them and pondered for a moment, then said, "He crippled your cultivation and pubes, so he didn't kill you. Furthermore, with the strength of your bodies, even if you were severely injured, you would definitely think of returning to Mu clan." Mu Yuding definitely thought the same. "So, let's do it." You all pretended to be heavily injured and returned to the northern region of the Mu clan. Only then would you all know the true purpose of meeting Mu Yuding. Long Fei said indifferently, "All right, I'll listen to you." Mu Changfeng also wanted to know what exactly was going on. Long Fei said, "You should act a bit more. Don't worry, we will definitely not let them see through us." Mu Changfeng was still confident in this point. Long Fei said, "Also, do not let them find out about the matter of you two going into the path of demon." Understood. The 7 of them nodded their heads heavily. Long Fei said, "All right, then go. With your speed of being severely injured, you should only be able to reach Mu clan tomorrow." Mu Changfeng replied, "Understood." And then, the 7 of them pretended to be on the verge of death. Their stomachs, mouths, and chests were all covered in blood, making them look like movie emperors. Long Fei looked at them and said in his heart, "Grandfather, there is someone inside Mu clan who wants to deal with you. If you go into closed-door cultivation, I will clean up the mess for you." But Long Fei looked at the depths of the forest. Right now, he was not only worried about the internal conflicts within the Mu clan, he was also worried about the Undead Lord. According to the information provided by Undead Ghost, he should be at God Living Mountain by now. It was just that he did not know why Mu clan had not been able to receive any news. This was very strange. Could it be that there is a spy in Mu clan? Or could it be that the traitor is Mu Tianhe? Mu Tianhe is helping an outsider clean up grandfather's people. Long Fei made wild guesses. There was still one more undead ghost that hadn't returned. Now that Mu Changfeng and the rest were here, they probably wouldn't be able to come back until they found the Undead Lord. Let's not worry about it for now. Let's settle the internal conflict in Mu clan first. Long Fei calmed his heart. It was just that settling the internal conflicts within the Mu clan was not a simple matter. It was currently only at the first stage of the Everlasting Realm. This realm could be considered tyrannical in the Eastern District, but in the Northern District, any disciple could possibly be stronger than him, let alone an elder. Mu clan was also an ancient family, and there were many almighty powerhouses. Muhatai was an ancient almighty powerhouse. If he was really the mastermind, then Long Fei would definitely have a lot of opponents. He still had to level up. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.